for sure. So I'm just too toxic, and that's why I'm so picky.
Опа.
Так, это команда Exigence.
And this is Exigence. This is a team from France.
Чемпион мира.
And they have a world champion 2023, a young guy from France. And why are you laughing when you said France? Well, actually, it's a world champion. He's very strong in the simulator. While racing, he has some mistakes because he's still young, but
Не до мастерства, до нервов.
when it comes to the stress, not to mastership, sometimes they found out themselves under pressure. So we've got the second couple, and let's move on.
Так, ну и мы почти заканчиваем с
So
нашим.
we're about to finish with our surprises, and this is wild card number 4.
Потому что сюрпризная карта. Пожалуйста.
So put it in that box. And our next team,
Следующая команда DRD, Drone Racing Division.
Drone Racing Division. This is a team from Krasnoyarsk, Russia. They have a world champion from Russia, 2023. And in fact, as we are having this draw ceremony, he's at the Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia, and he can get the main prize. So all our viewers can send their regards to our Russian champion. Yes, so we have this young star in our country who has become the world champion, and I'm hoping that you will see success at Grand Prix and at the games of the future as well. And our
Номер 4 сейчас.
couple number 4,
Team Reactor.
О,
Team Reactor. Yeah, I know these guys. I know these guys. The winners of the first Phygital Games in Kazan 2022.
Ты имел в виду, ну,
You meant
дрон-рейсингу.
for drone racing, yes, for Phygital drone racing.
То, что у нас своя иерархия по
Because we have our own hierarchy in terms of numeration of our Phygital games. For you, they are the first. For us, not obligatory. Flat Out is our next team, and this is
Такая только что сформировавшаяся.
a new team that was formed just recently.
Ее мы найдем. Это
So we will find it. It's a Bulgarian team.
сюда. Да.
команда из Болгарии.
So it's a team from Bulgaria, and they have very famous pilots who participated several times in Russia, and Dmitry Shterov was participating in 2022, but for a different team, so we know that guy, and we saw that guy.
Так,
So,
Full Throttle.
and Full Throttle India.
В Индии дела
And what about drone racing in India?
дронами.
С дронами в Индии.
So everything is okay with drones in India. They have their own league, their domestic league with athletes who
Которые достигают пикового уровня.
are not very famous, but they have their new stars, and they will definitely come to Kazan in 2024, and we will see them. And now, next couple, we
7 шариков.
have 7 balls left.
Нечетное, значит, тот надо было сюда положить.
So it's
Всё, молодец.
you have to change the box to have it equal.
Стоп команд, как будто уже
So many teams.
15.
Just 16.
назвали.
So
APX
APX drone team.
команда из Турции.
It's a team from Turkey,
Довольно-таки молодая команда.
a very young team, and I'm pretty sure that there are 2 brothers competing in this team, Atakan and Burak, very young guys from Turkey. Atakan is the Turkey world champion 3 times in a row. So final couple was India against Turkey,
Три пары.
and we've got 3 couples left.
Перевалили.
So we have passed the equator.
Team Minsk.
Team means Korea.
В названии
So in the name
вступают 2 спортсмена
means
Кореи, молодые пилоты.
we can see that there are 2 young athletes from Korea, Kim Min-jae and Kim Min-chan, and they have that Min beginning in their last names, and that's why they call their team Means. And these are the favorites. These are the
не проиграли.
guys, the team that is very likely to win, and they have never lost a single
Из контекста
tournament. So any tournament that you can get, they are the true leaders, the true championship. So these are the true legends that will come to Kazan, to Russia.
А у нас командные зачеты.
But you have to know that they are champions in the individual, but we have a team event.
проходцы в этом спорте.
Минск.
And by the way, we are the pioneers in that team event.
Теутоник.
And the next team is
Теутоник.
Teutonic.
Так.
Teutonic Racing. This is a team,
Сейчас скажу.
let me see, a team from Germany.
Тоже молодые два пилота выступают.
Very young two pilots, and
Можно сделать так.
they are not
Южной Корее,
lucky with their opponents.
где
Well, actually, that will be the first stage where participants will participate in couples during the qualification. It will be a very long way till the final, but
да, это
still,
распределение квалификации.
it's just a qualification in a simulator. Then, at the qualification, they will show what they can. Then we will see them, and there will be a drone racing. So it's a very long process. So no, you don't have to be concerned. So somewhere lucky, somewhere unlucky, and maybe a team from Germany will get some experience. They will not be that stressed since they will face South Korea, and they will show what they got. And finally, wild card
Карт первый.
number 1 and the final one.
Из нашей секретной
Это
команды.
заключительная команда у нас?
And is it a finalable? No, we've got 2 more.
Так,
And they will face GLD Racing.
это у нас команда из Китая.
This is a team from China.
Вот, на самом деле,
So,
китайских команд.
in fact, I don't know a lot of Chinese teams, but they sent an application, and we took a look at how they compete at their domestic tournaments. We saw their videos, how they fly, and the results are outstanding. And China is the country where drones are created, but oddly enough, they don't have enough athletes. I know that spare parts for drones are being printed on the 3D printers, so that's the basis, and the electronics and the frames, you can actually find it elsewhere.
На основу рамы. Так, последняя пара у нас.
And the final couple,
Команда Drone Sports.
Drone Sports.
Команда из
This is a team from Russia,
команда из России.
the only team from Russia that started to compete back in 2019 at the international arena. They took the 3rd place. They were very strong, and after the pandemic, they started to lag behind, but they're very strong. They're the most awarded in Russia, and probably they're going to burst into the games of the future.
Которые тоже
Actually, we have a lot of young teams who are ready to show what they got.
Участник.
And the final participant is
Дрон биатлон.
Drone Biathlon.
Да, интересная команда.
Well, that's a very interesting team. There is a discipline called Drone Biathlon. Actually, there is nothing about military things, but a team that participates in
Прикладные, где надо
more applied tournaments where you have to deliver a cargo or deal with more accurate flights in the action
последняя пара.
aspect. So the last couple was teams from Russia, so we made that draw. Thank you very much. And now I would like to get back to my bro, to Ron, and to run over to you. He's got a brilliant voice, by the way.
Привет, Макс, привет, Вадим.
Well, hello, Max. Hello, Vadim. Hello, everyone who's watching us online. And next to me is a true legend. the person who won the previous Phygital Games, the first Phygital Games in Kazan in 2022, the captain of the Team Reactor team, and the person who's going to participate in the next game, Ivan Bayarinov. How are you? Well, I'm doing great. How did you like the drawing, the first question that I have for you? Well, that was unusual. It was interesting to compete against teams from other countries in qualifiers. We were lucky. We are going to compete with the Bulgarians. We know these guys. We have already competed against them. So we'll see who achieved what over these 2 years. Let's speak about the drone racing in general terms, because it's quite a young discipline. How did it all start? So could you tell us about the history of this discipline? I can speak about how it all started in Russia. I think it will be more interesting for the audience. I started drone racing some 5 years ago, but in Russia, they have been existing 7 or 8 years ago when the first competitions were held in my city. This discipline appeared in 2018 or 2019 when my team was established.
Ребята проводили мероприятие, я приезжал.
So the guys were holding an event. I traveled there. I competed, so I won my city competition, and I was invited to join the team. So it's only 7 or 8 years since the drone racing started in Russia. As for the world, so it started 10 or 12 years ago. And how many teams are there in Russia? By now, I think some 20 professional teams that compete at all times, participate in the Grand Prix that are hosted by Russia every year. Now, some silly questions for you. What do I have to do to become a professional pilot, professional racer? Do I need to have some kind of driving license, drone racing license, or what? Well, look, can I just buy a drone somewhere, install an application, my smartphone, and then I become a pilot? Well, you may consider yourself a pilot if you want to, but that's not enough to compete. First, you need to learn to fly in the simulator before you can control the real drone. And when you participate in competitions, there are regulations that you have to adhere to when you compete. So you need to prepare your device, because not every drone is good enough to be used in the competition. How much time does it take to learn to fly in the simulator and then with the real drone? Well, it differs. Sometimes it takes a couple of days to master the simulator and then to master the drone. Sometimes it may take more than a month. It all depends on how determined you are. And it is easier for the younger kids, and the younger you are, the better you can control drone. What skills does a pilot require? Well, I guess you should be well versed in technical things. You should be able to make quick decisions, to be able to react to any kind of emergency, because there can be some mistakes or errors that you need to resolve quickly. What is your professional background? Well, I'm in the Aviation Institute currently, and first I started working with drones, and then I decided to get an education there in this field as well. And what are safety procedures in drone racing? Well, safety procedures are simple. Initially, when you register for the competition, you bring your drone, you show it to the judges. You must prove that your drone can switch the engines off when the signal is lost, because when it gets lost, drone can switch engines off by itself and not travel back to where it was bought from. Then they check some other functions like switching off the video signal, not to interfere with the other pilots during the event. And you cannot switch your drone on if you're not in the competition area. So you cannot fly around with your drone whenever you want it. So if you are violating any of these rules, you will be suspended from the competitions. And there are similar rules at the Games of the Future, and we are going to have a pit stop zone where you can use your drone. It's going to be a designated place with a second pilot or technician waiting for you there to replace an accumulator or to install a new propeller or to prepare the drone for the competition. Well, Since we have started speaking about the games of the future and you are going to compete there, maybe you have some secrets to reveal. How do you prepare? How often do you practice? And so what is your routine? Well, I can make a small announcement in our team. Among those who've been following us, we have some changes. We have a new pilot for this particular competition. Throughout the year in our institute, in our college, we have formed a team to participate in the competitions as a team, and we have a young pilot now. He's 14 years old, Platon Cherenych, and to strengthen our team, so we decided to use him in the lineup. And is there any age restrictions? Well, like I said, the younger the pilot is, the easier it is for them to control the drone. So in a year, he managed to achieve the level it took me 5 years to achieve. So we made our team stronger from piloting point of view. And so how does it work? Younger people have better reaction, better reflexes, or what? Yeah, well, we look at the skills a person has, what kind of disciplines he was into before. If there is something similar, we ask him, can you show how you control the drone in a simulator? If he does well, then we take him to our team. Well, thank you so much. You told us a lot about the drones, about the racing. So we'll see you in February at the games, and we move on to the next discipline, Cybathletics.
Итак, дорогие друзья, и мы снова с
And dear friends, we are back with you in the VK Pavilion, and in the next discipline is real state-of-the-art discipline like drone racing, actually. And it's a great step for entire mankind. No, we are not going to travel to the moon. We are going to drawing for the Cyborg Cybathletic. Cyberpunk has become a part of our life through sci-fi novels, films, and games. And along with our athletes, Cybathletes are going to compete the games of the future. And we have here Andrei Daviduk, chairman of the
инновационных.
Motorica company, who makes innovational
Андрей, добрый день.
Добрый
Добро
день.
пожаловать.
prosthesis. So, good afternoon, Andrei. Welcome. We are glad to have you here with us today. And I would like to ask you a couple of things about Cybathletics, if I may, of course, if you agree. So, what disciplines are there in Cybathletics? Well, disciplines in Cybathletics, they have to do with prosthesis of various limbs, exoskeleton, neural interface to control avatars, and we use wheelchairs with
Не останавливаемся и готовы
Electric.
в будущем.
electric engines, but we don't stop at that. We also have special disciplines for hearing and vision impaired people. We saw a video before. We saw these people compete. How do you define a winner in this discipline? Well, it's
И задания.
really close to Formula One. There is a track with a number of tasks, and then the faster you pass through it, the better result you get, but then you should do everything right. So there are a certain amount of points that is awarded to you. If you do it right, then you get these points added. If the points are the same, then the winner is the one who did it faster.
У нас идет правильность.
So first you need to do it right, and then the second criterion is how fast do you pass the track. Well, yes, the first criterion is the number of points, the correctness. Well, don't hurry, don't try to rush things in this sense. Yes, and there are time limit as well.
При
Бесконечно
прочих
долго.
равных, как вы сказали.
So you cannot take all the time in the world here, actually. And I would like to hear about the technologies. What technologies are employed by Cybathletes? Well, the modern rehabilitation means that we have basically, mainly, these are all kind of robots. For example, there are some artificial intelligence systems. There are some systems that can read the signals in your brain to control an avatar using the computer interfaces. There are systems using optical
Все те самые
devices. So all the state-of-the-art cutting-edge technologies that are employed everywhere, our developers are using them to help the people with disabilities. Wow, that's really awesome.
Давайте,
I think let's move on to the
ну и пока вы встаете
drawing itself.
центрально.
And while you are getting in front of our baskets here, of our boxes here, so I'm going to say that we are going to have 10 teams in total,
Мы сделаем 5 пар.
and we are going to have 5
Я
pairings. I'm not wrong, everything is all right. Well, I did my best. I tried my best not to make any mistakes. And like it was with the previous draw, so first you put a ball in the right box and then to the left. Well, your right-hand box and left-hand box. So let's start then.
Так, первое.
Okay, the first one.
Команда Job Obedience.
Japan Widians team.
убираем сюда.
Это у нас команда из Нигерии.
It's a team from Nigeria.
И начнет она
соперники.
соревнование.
And they are going to compete against a team
Malayan Warrior.
that is called Malayan Warrior. It's a team from Malaysia.
Вторая пара.
And the second pairing,
Russian Cyborgs.
Russian Cyborgs.
Название это наша.
Well, as you understand from the name, this is our team, a team from Russia. I'm putting it into the right-hand box.
И встретится она в
And they are going to compete for their first event
Tana Air.
against a team that is called Tanah Air Indonesia. Well, from the name of the team, you understand that this team comes from Indonesia.
Наша третья пара.
And the third pairing that we are going to have,
Bharat.
Bharat.
Приедут ребята из Индии.
The guys are going to travel here from India.
Или
So how many teams from India do we have? We already have 5 teams in total, and that's the first one from India. Well, yeah, I got the drone racing event mixed up into this. And they are going to have their first event competing against the team called IQ'd.
Южноафриканская.
IQ'd, that's Republic of South Africa.
вот
Well,
эта команда.
the previous team, where did they come from?
Южной Африки.
From South Africa, Republic of South Africa.
Ну, из того региона вторая команда.
So the second team from the region, from Africa, you mean?
Будет вторая.
Yes, it is going to be this. There will be the second team. There is also a team from Nigeria.
Получается, кибатлетика по всему миру.
So Cybathletics is then something that is quite popular across the world. Yes, it is known across the world, but that's a new discipline,
Казанских игр в том, что
up-and-coming discipline. And the special thing about the Kazan Games would be that we have invited teams that are going to use Russian wheelchairs and
у них будет уже
Russian mouse computer systems, but the prostheses they are going to bring with them. Well, then we will try to show how great we are in making these things. Yes, in November we had qualification for a team from Russia, and that was a very interesting event as well.
четвертая
The
пара.
next one, the 4 pairing is
Unity.
Unity.
Это команда из Ирана.
team from Iran.
Что
I have to say that in Iran,
для того, чтобы добрать лучшую команду, провели
to find the
высокое было
best team, they had national championship, it generated a lot of interest, and the champions of Iran basically are now coming to us. Well, the best of the best, basically. Yes, yes, that's how it is.
Саудовская Аравия.
And Falcon Birds from Saudi Arabia.
Встретятся Иран и
It's interesting that they're going to compete against each other, Iran and Saudi Arabia. Well,
движение.
this movement generates a lot of interest in this region as well. And the final pairing,
У нас встретятся вот
we're going to have water buffaloes,
эта команда из Вьетнама.
a team from Vietnam,
И Фараонс.
and Pharaohs.
Египта.
Pharaohs is a team from Egypt.
Из названия следует, да?
So
Надо сказать, что
one might
собрались команды
deduce from the name.
в силу того, что это все-таки для людей с
Well, since these are people with disabilities, a lot of them, they were consulting with ministries in their countries, with large corporations, and they found support there as well. If we speak about world championships and about some other international competitions, how often does it happen? And for example, if there are the world championship, how often is it held? Well, there is a world championship. It is held one time in 4 years, not every year, once in 4 years. So far, we've had only 2 championships. In 2024, there will be the third one. One way or another, they have these competitions once in 4 years. What are some other major competitions? Well, the biggest one is the Games of the Future. From what we understood, there is also a world championship. And if we look at some other competitions, what else is there?
сейчас в России.
Well, the main focus here in Russia is the Russian Championship or Federal District Championships.
И движение наше связано
And
с продвижением.
we also are trying to promote this discipline abroad. And within the Games of the Future, it serves as another promotion effort. So it helps us to promote the games abroad. And our plan is to sign in Kazan a memorandum on the establishment of the World Cybathletic Federation, and then we are going to help the other countries to establish national federations to reach the next level in this discipline. Well, that's really great. If we speak about the training for the Cyb athletes, how does it work for them? Well, in every team, they have a company that manufactures the equipment, and then they help these athletes to train. For example, someone makes limb prostheses, and they are helping their teams to train with these particular devices. And then they all come at some kind of event, at some kind of competition, and then they can work as a team together. If we will try to think about some regular sports, classical sports, so how often, for example, do they practice? How often do they have training sessions? Well,
Свободному формату
it's more of a free format
в стадии проработки.
so far because we are establishing rules, establishing recommendations. We have already university training instructors for Cybathletics. We are training coaches and referees, so we are an aspiring discipline, an up-and-coming discipline. Well, then I guess we can move on. I'm waiting for the signal. Andrei, thank you so much for your participation. Every respect for this whole Cybathletics thing. It's like super awesome. But I don't say goodbye to you, dear spectators. There are still some disciplines ahead, and attention, we have a surprise for you. An unexpected guest and a contest, but I'm not going to spoil it for you anymore. I'm going to give the floor now to my friend Turan, who is with you there. Please tell us.
Рядом со мной
Well, here with me, we have
разминку.
a guest who is now warming up, Sergei Bach, a Cybathlete and a test pilot of Russian prostheses and rock. He's an expert from the Cyborg company. I have a couple of questions for you. Well, the first question, how are you? How's the mood? Well, great. Everything's fine. Yana, I've got a question for you as a representative of our friends, of our partner company. Why these large-scale corporations support such a young discipline, such a young thing as Phygital? Well, why not? Cibor are leaders in the chemical industry, and we are trying to lead the way in a number of other fields and in sports in particular. Our company supports professional leagues, professional clubs in football, in hockey, in basketball, and children's sports projects as well. And Phygital is a kind of a new thing, and we are open for all things new. And this principle of versatility, of multitude, we also have it in our strategy of sustainable development that we are promoting within our company, and we want to be a part of this sustainable development. So that's why Phygital, and in particular Cybathletics, we thought it was an interesting thing, and we decided to enter this field and to work together.
So now, Sergey, over to you. A question, maybe very naive, but I'm very interested in getting your answer. How Cybathletics started to develop in Russia? Cybathletics appeared in 2017, and in Moscow almost every year we have several times Moscow Cup and Russian Championship and Moscow Championship, but I can be wrong with the titles. I take part every time in these competitions, and it's very pleasant to see that since 2017 we had 30 people. At the final tournament we had 150 people. It's very good to see excited and passionate people who come to Moscow from regions, and they say that they like everything, they share their emotions, and we understand that they are inspired. And it's very good that when we get support from such companies as Cibor. Also, we get support from the Moscow government, and it's very important to have that attention because we would like to develop technologies, and it is relevant not just to users but to the society itself. We want to see, to show to the world what we know and what we can do and what we plan to do. So where can we find you? Where can we follow you? And you have that opportunity to say it right now. Of course, social media. So now we have a venue at VDNH, and users can come here and use equipment that will be used for competitions. So that's a very good support. Yana, another question to you. How Cibor will support cyber athletes and teams that will represent Russia at the Games of the Future? I think that we can have different opportunities for joint events. We have our own pavilion at VDNH that is called the House of Polymers, and this venue can become an attraction point and an opportunity, a place for different motivation meetings, masterclasses, workshops. And before the Games of the Future, to attract more attention to Cybathletics, we can use this venue. So we can do it before the Games of the Future and after the Games of the Future. We, as a company, believe in our guys' success, and we would like to have them as motivational speakers. We want to attract them to our company because we are presented not only in Moscow but in different regions of Russia. And we have social investments program, and every year we have different events, and we would like to invite these guys to our meetings, to our events. My next question is to both of you. It's a very interesting question. Sergey, we'll start with you. So we have different films, books, and in popular culture, we see a lot of things about nearest future where different parts of the body are replaced with new technologies, and in films probably you could see it. So what do you think about it, and how far are we from it, and is it any true? So I'm okay with these films because they have a beautiful picture and people don't get into the topic they don't understand that there are some superpowers, and when they see very similar technologies in the reality, they expect to get a lot. But these things are much easier at this moment of time and in terms of technology development. But still, it's a very good impetus that helps to make popular such technologies, such devices. And there was a TV series on TNT channel that shows people with such devices. Or I can tell you that people with such devices, they are very similar to regular people. It's just an alternative view on the way we live.
Имплант.
And cyber implants, things that we are talking about.
Сохранение каких-то возможностей, или это шаг все?
Is it just a chance to help disabled, or it's a step towards the future? Well, I think that's the step towards the future. At least I would like to believe in it. And I can tell you that we don't just give a tool to a person to help him or her with something, but it is something that can give some additional opportunities. And a person will be different from other people because of their individuality, and this is the most interesting thing. So let's speak about the games of the future. So what do you think about this tournament?
То ребята будут соревноваться.
And what do you think about the fact that in just a couple of months, Cybathletes will be competing in Kazan? Well, of course, I'm very positive because there was a lot of preparational work and they have attracted a lot of people. There will be live broadcasts and so on and so forth. So for us, for Cybathletes, it will be very good because we want to have more attention. We want to say, we want to show that despite all the difficulties that we may have in our lives, we still carry on with confidence. So now my question to Yana from Sibur. So what Sibur is going to do at the Games of the Future, and how do you support these competitions? So I would like to say one thing. Since Kazan is an enterprise of Sibur, this is the city where we are represented, and the Republic of Tatarstan also has Sibur facilities. We are located in Kazan and Nizhnekamsk, so that's why we will provide them our support with the volunteers, for example. And I can tell you that some dozens of people showed some interest and they really want to take part in these competitions, and they say that this is a very high-profile tournament that they really want to take part in. So probably they will go to the Games of the Future instead of going to work.
Форма у них будет отличаться.
And are they going to have a different uniform? Well, I think that they will be like any others. There will be no difference from regular volunteers that will be helping at the Games of the Future. So we mentioned volunteers, and
Болеть за
now let's talk about
которые выступают в дисциплине.
support. I don't really understand how can one support cybathletes. How does it happen? Actually, their relatives come, or people that are somehow related to this industry or to this direction. So if they really want to see how it works, how different equipment works, and how people can adapt to these things, how confident they are with operating such things, and of course, representatives, you can see them, how they support. How can we extend the audience? I think we just need to attract more attention to this tournament at different levels, starting from mass media, so more people know about cybathletics, and so they can bring someone with them.
Страны поспособствуем этому как компания и обязательно.
We, as a company, from our side, will definitely help you, and we will highlight all your tournaments where the broadcast can be seen. So I think that is going to be a decent result. So now we have a draw ceremony for different disciplines. We talked a lot about cybathletics. Today we are going to have Phygital BMX as well. And what disciplines do you prefer, or what do you like to watch,
Следить.
or just to follow, maybe? Let me be the first. I As a person from Sibur, I'm interested in basketball because previously I was working in a basketball organization. So for me, basketball is something very close, and it's also very close to the company because we have projects related to the children's basketball, schools of basketball, Sibur camp, and also we have the same project on football called the School of Football. So we really follow these traditional disciplines, and I follow them. But as a person who likes to spend my time with friends, I would like to see some Just Dance or maybe other teams. So Sergey, what about you? So I have been doing snowboard for 4 years, and I'm just rushing to my house to change my clothes and to have some snowboarding session. So because I have planned this,
На игру будущего.
unfortunately we don't have snowboarding at the Games of the Future, but we are going to have Phygital Skateboarding, and I'm pretty sure it will be very interesting. Did you take part in it? No, never.
Ну что,
So, okay. In fact,
я думаю, что мы можем.
I think we can
Разговор. Спасибо вам большое.
sum up our conversation. Thank you very much. We had Sergey Bachu and Yana Rak. Thank you very much, and see you in Kazan. For sure, we will see you in February 2024. And now it's time to have a draw on Phygital BMX.
Итак, уважаемые друзья, мы
And now, dear friends, we are back to the draw ceremony, and
наверное, одна из моих
this is one of the flagship discipline. I'm talking about Phygital BMX, and I have been passionate about it for about 20 years. And I remember the times when BMX was a complete underground, and I remember when this sport became a high-performance sport, and finally my favorite sport got into this Phygital movement. So BMX is not just a bike, it's a complex engineering object, and that's why I'm so proud that we have some of the best BMX components in Russia.
мирового уровня и масштаба у нас в России.
And also in Russia we have the best companies that do design and the skate parks construction. And when BMX got into the Olympic program, athletes from Russia were among the best. In short, BMX in Russia is the absolute top, and in this very difficult conversation I need some help. And this is my bro, my homie, Losha LS. Losha, I'm very happy to have you alongside me during this draw ceremony, and I would like to speak a little bit with you because you were at the origins of the bike movement in Russia, and so you
Game of Bike.
shouldn't be shy because you are the game of bike. And can I actually have you
Хорошо придумал, Дарья.
in the game of bike?
Что хочу тебе сказать?
So I really want to ask you, do you like the idea that Phygital BMX has absorbed the best of the game of bike? So first, thank you very much, Maxim, for inviting me here. It's very pleasant to be here. So this new experience, I mean, Phygital experience, in fact, I don't really understand how this will end. In general, game of bike format is very interesting because it's two individuals opposing and playing against each other on this cycle, and they just trying to understand who is the best. This Phygital movement that finally we have a computer game is very interesting, by the way, because in a video game you can compete as well, and it will be very interesting to see how will this be combined when guys will be riding in the reality and then they will play video games. But anyway, that's an amazing experience. Let me say a few words about the format because it's just so complicated, because you took part in the game of bike in park and street disciplines, but in the virtual game of bike you never participated. But Phygital BMX combines all the three formats, so we will have a street, park, and we will have a simulate discipline. And our virtual cyclists were not chosen randomly. As far as I know, in Moscow there was a qualification, and guys were competing for the right to play. Or it was vice versa. Who loses then proceeds with the video game. So yes, it happened that we had professional athletes and they divided. Someone will only play a video game, someone will only ride. And for some people it was like okay, because they have been playing this game several times, several years maybe. Some were absolutely new to it. So previously I didn't know anything at all about simulators, and I'm pretty sure that our guys will see success anyway. And I absolutely agree with you, because since they know how to do tricks in the real life, they will know how to do it in a video game. So, and we will have the best of the best from all over the world, and they all will come to Russia. These are the strongest athletes, I have to say. And I believe we can give you a name of the second medal winner in the Olympic Games Tokyo, and I think that's a confirmation that we are going to have the best of the best. So let's proceed with the draw. And in none of the Phygital discipline, we didn't have that thing that we will build teams just in front of your eyes, because we have 8 teams for virtual BMX, we have 8 teams for park discipline, and also we have 8 teams for street discipline, but they mixed up, and next 15 minutes we will build up teams for Phygital BMX. I'm so excited, I'm so thrilled, and I think that's just unreal. And we have people from foreign countries, we have people from Russia, and these guys do not know who will be in their teams, and it will be very interesting to see guys from Western countries competing with Russian guys, so it will be very interesting. So in general, I think that's an amazing experience. I don't know what will be the outcome, but I'm absolutely sure it will be great. So let's draw them up. In fact, when we made the first draw for the tournament and we had to announce it, we have come up with the verb to draw. So let us draw them up, and we will start with the virtual simulator. There are 8 athletes, and balls with their names are in this central box. So let's begin. So you take the ball out, you show the name of the team, and then we put it in the left box. And then we will put them in the right box. So this is the first one, and this is the wheel of the bike. So let me crack it open. So, and this is Nikita Isakov.
Никитос.
Yeah, Nikita, you are a gamer, aren't you?
Совершенно верно.
So, is he a gamer? Yeah, he is the strongest rider from Krasnoyarsk. He's a true Siberian guy, a person who
Фёстов, это
has several role firsts. These are the tricks that were made for the first time in the history, and this athlete has such a potential.
Более того,
But we will not see it because he will be pushing buttons. He got a best trick 1 year ago at one of the competitions, so this is one of the strongest athletes of the Team Russia.
получается, что
But today he will be playing simulator. He will be in a different group.
Я знаю, как это
показываю
бывает.
So this is the second participant,
подумать, что у меня там это
За
самое.
100%.
and this is Maxim Pavlov.
Максим Павлов, ты читаешь, видишь, у меня с
Да, да,
другой
да,
стороны.
да, да.
Так, мы его во вторую команду.
So we will put him in the second team. You're absolutely correct.
Надо из-
Given how Ivan Shmakov is watching at us, I understand that this is a video game guy. I don't know that person, but I have been in this BMX industry for 20 years, and probably he's a video player. So he is filming games of bikes for YouTube on a virtual simulator, and
Переигрывает. Вот,
he then just retranslates all our bikes in the game. And so the second team, and it's one of the top, and I think he's one of the best in the video game.
достаю.
So let me see.
Никита Фомин.
Nikita Fominov.
Никитос тоже залетает у нас
Nikita
на кнопки.
will be playing simulator as well, and I really love this athlete. He won this Patokate in 2022, so we can speak a lot about Nikita, but he will be in the Russian national team. One of his best achievements, he welded the world first trick, and that was 6 bar spins and 360. So he was rotating 360 degrees and he made 3 bar spins. So you understand what bar spin is. So you can't even understand with the naked eye how difficult it is.
Лучше еще.
Only 120 FPS will allow you to see the complexity of this trick. And let's move on.
Посмотрим, сколько он барспинов в пайпе сделал.
So let's look at him doing bar spins in the virtual simulator then.
Митчелл Радер.
Mitchell Rutter.
Чувствую что-то такое забугорное, да?
Well, seems like someone from abroad. Oh, Canada. Yes, sir.
Ну, посмотрим.
Just look at that. Well, let's look at him in Kazan. How does he perform there? Well, we don't know yet, but I think he knows a thing or two about this stuff. Well, he knows where he's going. He's going to the first games of the future.
4.
So we have 4 of them. How are you going to reach the Team 5, Team 6 to Team 7? I hope you have long arms
Нашего
and long reach.
Осталось вообще немного, на самом деле.
So we are running out of those 4 to go. There are 8 in total, 4 already there. Well, I know my math. I went to public school. Well, I went to college. Artyom Moskvichov, yes, he mentioned that. Artyoma, greetings from here. I hope that you're watching this, and welcome. Welcome to the virtual BMX. And I have to say right away that Artyom is one of the strongest riders in the street discipline. In his arsenal, there are a huge amount of various tricks, and he is a real shredder in BMX. We call people like him shredders, and this time he's going to participate in the games of the future, and he will be pushing buttons on the controller. He made it to the finals
Я считаю, что
in
это
the BMX battle.
достижение.
I think that's his biggest accomplishment, and I think this year he's got every chance to win the competition. And the team number 6, the next athlete that is going to be a part of team number 6.
Опа, Малик Рязаев.
Malik Rizaev.
Про брата.
Do I understand it right that he's the father of
Двукратный,
Rizaev, a 7 times Russian champion in freestyle? He went to the Olympic Games in Tokyo. One of the most awarded, most decorated park riders of our country, and has got a very talented brother who's designing riding BMX parks now. And he also designed the park where the Phygital BMX is going to take place. Well, welcome to the team, man. That's really cool.
Следующий.
And the next one, Max Ball.
Ой. Так. Тут самое главное это ловкость.
Well, the main thing here is to be agile with your hands. Next one from the crowd of street BMXers, and now he's going to make his breakthrough in the virtual team. He's one of the best Russian street BMXers. He's got great technique. He really wanted to ride the bike. Everyone wanted to ride the bike, but well, everything is fair and clear here. Artem Agarkov
Артем поехал у нас кататься на велике.
beat him, so Artem is going to ride the bike, and
Ну и что, у нас заключительный?
this mate of ours is going to have a controller in his hands. Team number 8, no questions here. Anar Aliyev.
Жаришка. Ну что,
Well, it's going to be hot. He's also a Russian national team member, and he's also going to make his breakthrough in the virtual discipline. He's going to be a part of team number 8, the young up-and-coming athlete from Kaliningrad. Outstanding athlete, I believe.
А мне куда сюда?
ты знаешь, что? Несмотря на то, что у нас
Oh, despite the fact that we are live on air, sometimes there is magic, movie magic. We are going to fill in the virtual slot for our team. The main thing is to learn about our gamers, the most unpredictable part of our drawing, because
они являются непрофильными виртуальными BMXерами.
those of them who are going to be in the virtual BMX, they are not, well, professionals in this
Наши конструкции находятся
discipline. And now we move on to the park, and we have 8 professional BMXers. Well, I've got sweaty palms even. I'm so nervous. Well, it's so slippery in here because of your sweaty palms. We are going to have the best ones from the world global ranking. I mean, Yurik Rizaev, Konstantin Andreev, they are best of the best, top
где Костя.
of the world. Just look at Konstantin Andreev and the rest of them. Look, where's Sandoval? Well, Sandoval is going to the Phygital. That's where he is. Well, team number 1 is going to have Arseny Lubishkin with them. Some time ago, I remember this young lad when he was 12 years old. He was like this high, and now he's a young shredder who's got, well, he's among the top 3 athletes in his arsenal. There are such tricks, I can't even pronounce their names and the number of spins that he's making with his BMX. Well, I don't have enough fingers on my hand to count all of them when he's making a trick.
14, по-моему, или в 15.
I think when he was 13 or 15, he was a world champion among amateurs. Just for a second here.
Талантливых.
One of the most promising, one of the most talented athlete, and he's still young.
В общем, добро.
Because when he grows to be 25, well, I can only imagine how he will be.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Welcome to the club, buddy. That's how we create him,
Вы поняли, о чем мы здесь разговариваем.
to make our foreign colleagues aware of what is going on here. Now the team number 2.
Ох.
Oh, wow.
Александр Сидерис.
Alexander Sideris from Switzerland.
Про него разговаривали.
As we spoke about him, you remember we worked at the European Championship in 2021 here in Moscow, and I remember him because of his great style. Despite he was competing in the park discipline, he was using tricks from the street discipline in that event. So I think he can make a perfect match for the Phygital concept. Yes, he's an up-and-coming young athlete with a very interesting riding style. We don't have a lot of such athletes. That's why we should appreciate his participants in the games of the future. Well, we can expect certain level from the other riders, and here is the
Трюки.
dark horse, one might say.
Дисциплина стрита, например.
Да, он может.
So, and not every park BMXer can repeat things from the street discipline. That's why that's a very outstanding skill. Maybe Artem Agarkov can do that. Maybe he's watching us, so I'm going to send him my best regards. Well, team number 3, we are going to have a next one, a teammate for team number 3. Well, that's such an exciting moment. So many balls I have already cracked open, but still every time it's as nervous as before. Marin Renters from Croatia. You pronounce it Marin Rantes. Well, because in Croatian it's pronounced as sh. So I'm sorry for
Хороший друг Костя Андреев.
making these adjustments to your pronunciation. He's a good friend of Konstantin Andreev, also very strong rider.
Когда только-только
In
сделал
2018, when they introduced BMX to the Olympic Games, the first World Cup, he was the one who won in the overall discipline. He did not win the first places everywhere, but he won the World Cup. He's 20 years old. He's not that old, so he is a veteran rider.
наверное, 8 у них разница.
So
Четвертая команда, поехали смотреть.
team number 4.
Yes.
Я так немножко уже это.
So I'm going to switch to English a little bit because we have a lot of English people among us, so you have to speak English.
Разговаривать же.
Well, I'm not going to speak Croatian with Marin 100% because I don't speak Croatian.
Кеннет Тенчо.
Kenneth Tencio.
Да, ты...
Tencio or Tencio? Wow. When he comes here, we will ask him how his name is pronounced. Well, outstanding athlete as well, a strong, serious contender. He's in the world ranking. Well, we have no weak athletes at the Phygital Games, only world scale, only globally ranking athletes.
Абсолютно. Команду номер 5 выбираем.
Team number 5 now.
Это вот здесь вот. То вдруг подумают, что я с удовольствием.
Because someone might think that I'm putting something away and I'm choosing and selecting and picking stuff. And now we have Konstantin Andreev. Unbelievable. That's him. That's truly him here. One of the most popular BMXers in our country. A person who is really zen in all possible events from BMX and on all other fields. And of course, he had to participate in our tournament that is called Games of the Future, Phygital BMX. And of course, we expect a lot from him, especially considering that this person knows how to play a game of bike. Absolutely, a number of times he
Выиграл Airball.
has to participate. He won the battle when we had this for the wintering. He also wanted to participate, and I told him, "Well, I'm sorry, guy, just let the sandbox for the kids." Konstantin Andreev is now here in the list, and he will compete. For someone watching us, maybe not everyone knows who Kostya Andreev is. All I have to say is that Kostya Andreev was the first Russian rider who started to travel not only to international tournaments, he started winning international tournaments. Before that,
Место было, это просто проход в
the best we did was just to qualify for the finals.
Женя был, по-моему.
So, and then
Андреев через несколько лет.
Kostya Andreev came, and some years later, he won the summer singles session.
В России есть BMX уже
So,
только планетарного.
he made the world know that in Russia we have BMXers. It's a person of global scale. He's a pillar of Russian BMX. We divided in two parts, Russian BMX before Kostya Andreev and after Kostya Andreev. He's in top shape. He's got a lot of signature tricks in his arsenal. He's keeping himself up to date. It'll be really hard competing against him. And I'm jealous of Team 5 to have Kostya Andreev with them. Not only in real BMX, but also in virtual BMX, because all his tricks, I think it'll be hard to repeat it in the game. Just unbelievable. Team number 6, go on.
Опа, а вот и тот самый Ирик.
And here is the Iraq Rizaev we've been speaking about. Russian champion, participant of the Olympic Games. Well, Sochi, Tokyo, doesn't matter. It's not far. A legend of Kazan, because he's the only one who
Который находится в Казани, да.
rode in the Kazan Kremlin. That was an unbelievable project. If you haven't heard of that, just try to look up images or videos online. That was really great. And Irek,
На нашем мероприятии.
he also participated in the event that was dedicated to the 300 days before the Games of the Future. I think he's a perfect fit, perfect match for the competition.
О, смотри, два брата.
Well, look, they are two brothers in the same team. That's what we said.
Ассоциации определенные всплывают.
Ну,
And Malik Rizaev and Irek Rizaev are going to be in one team.
Ждите, ждите.
And, well, I'm looking forward to that, to seeing that. It's going to be really interesting. I think the strategy will be perfect. Who is going to be a streeter in there? So it just need Artyom Agarkov for the street discipline, and it's just AAA. It's like the Royal Flash.
Шарика, две сферы.
And so we still have two spheres. Aren't we dragging it out? I just love being on air. I love being in front of the cameras, so that's why I'm probably enjoying this too much. And that's Daniel Sandoval. Whoa, friends. Obviously, that's a global scale legend. The man's a legend. Every day he comes up with a new trick, I think. I remember when there were those Olympic Games in Tokyo, he stayed in the United States, and in one social network every day during the games he was uploading a new trick that was like a challenge for him. Wow, he was just inventing them, coming up with them. And that was unbelievable. And Danny coming to Kazan, for us, it's a great thing. It's a valuable thing for us. And I think that all BMX aficionados in Russia will be watching him with such an interest. They will be watching Danny participating in the game of the future. And those in Kazan will be able to touch the legend even in a way. So I'm truly jealous of myself, first of all. So we now have... who's left here? Daniel Dares? We don't know what's in this ball. Well, the only one ball. And now everyone will be commenting that Alexei is corrupting everything. Daniel Dares. Oh, well, as you said. I think he was a bronze medalist or a silver medalist. Yes, he was the silver medalist at the first Olympic Games ever for BMXers. And he was 35 or even 36 back then. Well, same age as myself. And now he's even older than us. Well, he's a great fan of Russia, I have to admit. He loves coming here, so it will be a pleasure for him to go to Kazan. So now let's take a look at the table.
Так, ну что, а мы возвращаемся.
So, and now we are back to the Phygital BMX draw, and we now have the third roles to distribute, street riders for our BMX teams, and we want to finally know who is going to be in which team. So really eager to see that. And Parkers are my kids, and the Cyber kids are Vanishmakov's kids, and these are yours. Well, okay, drum roll. Now we are going to have Team 1, complete Team 1, and it's going to be very interesting. So now I'm really skilled in doing this stuff, and we can leave you one ball as a souvenir if you want it, if you love it so much. Alexander Aksonov. Well, a.k.a. Axe, a.k.a. well, whatever you call Axe, he's Axe. One of the most strongest, one of the best skilled riders in the street discipline. And behind the scenes here, before we started the drawing, we really wanted Axe to make a team with Moskvichov, with Artyom. It would have been a great team. Well, I have to agree with you, and like Artyom, Alexander, he made it to the semifinals at the Wintering last year. He is an ambitious athlete. I'm sure he wants to win the tournament, and at the Phygital Games, he will try to win as well. Well, Axe, welcome. We are glad to see you in the Team 1. Now, moving on to team number 2. It's so exciting every time I'm doing this.
Oh, Alex.
Oh, Alex Kennedy or Kennedy, United Kingdom or Great Britain.
London is the capital.
London is the capital of Great Britain. That's the stuff we learned in school. That's truly one of the best international riders. He's an icon for a lot of kids, for a lot of our athletes. Just imagine, Axe is going to say that I played the video game with Alex and I beat him. That's why we get him here, just to beat them, to give a chance for our guys to beat them. Now, team number 3.
Итак, имеется.
So, and the winner is...
Вот это сложно будет.
That is going to be difficult. Philippos Kosmidis from Greece. Oh, great friend of Pavel Nikonov's. That's how he got here. No, actually, beside
удивительно,
This,
что этого райдера не так многие знают.
as surprising as it seems, not a lot of people know this rider, even though he went to Yekaterinburg before, he loved Russia. And this is the guy who won the simple session best trick competition. He's got great style. Well, apart from having a great style, he's also a great rider. And this style, it goes along with this great fitness, great physical condition. And he's doing great all kinds of tricks.
Что это
Поставьте палец.
Those who... So please leave your thumbs up for those who know for what we are talking about. Just leave a comment if your thumbs are not going fine for whatever reason.
Я не знаю.
Well, the next one, let's find out. I haven't opened it yet, so we'll see now who's the next.
Экватор, практически.
Well, we've almost passed the equator.
Артем
Artyom Agarkov, and that's the team number 4. Really? Who's in the team number 4? Could you please tell us who's in the team number 4? Who?
Мы думали просто с братьями Рязаевым.
No, Kenneth Tenthio, and we thought he's going to be with
против них.
Rizaev brothers. No, Artyom, you will have to compete against them. Artyom is an outstanding rider. We love him. We are so much in love with him. I remember when you were like this. You were 13.
Что, нет.
Ему?
Ему, говорю,
No, I was 13? No, he was 13.
Нет, я просто вспомнил.
Okay, because I remember I was 13 as well.
Немножечко можно вкинуть?
And just a little bit of an inside joke. We had a game of bike where the guys were distributing who is going to ride a bike, who is going to play a video game, and Leo Soltsev lost to Artyom Agarkov, and they were teammates
В общем, как они это...
in the first place. So we'll see how they are going to make this decision at the game of the future. I'm sure we are going to see a conflict there. We love conflicts here.
Да.
That's where we are real professionals. The next ball.
Сантьяго Лаверде.
О,
Santiago Laverde.
чемпионат Европы же.
He also came for the European Championships here.
Все, вспомнил.
Мощнейший просто.
It's just really great rider with great style.
Пожалуй, да.
Прям стритеры вообще все отличаются.
Well, all streeters are different in a way that apart from the strong tricks, they also have great style, individual style. They have some tricks.
Такой
Well,
сильный характер. То есть,
they have this signature riding, all of them. It's like an artist. They have their own signature moves or signature strokes. The same with the street riders.
и
Поваляешь, не поешь, как говорится.
100%.
So you have to drop it before you eat it, as we say. Okay, Santiago, we respect you in the best way possible. Now, team number 6.
Майчел Флек да Сильва.
Michael Flag da Silva.
Фляг. Как ник?
Oh, like Nick Flag, like he's like Nick. It's also a guy who is one of the role models in the terms of style. Apart from the tricks that he has in his arsenal, he's got a lot of things and little things that he does.
Специализируется на этом.
Well, we have a guy, the entire generation of chinkers who are really into this kind of stuff. And it will be really interesting to watch smaller details. We will try to explain our audience during the games. We will try to explain, to make them aware of what is going on. Because sometimes you are watching them riding and you don't really understand what was done, what was really special about what they are doing. But when it all starts, we are going to explain it to you all. How does the real street riding look like? We are going to use simple terms, like layman terms, you know.
Итак, у нас команда номер 7.
So team number 7.
Ты можешь, кстати, не сворачивать.
You don't have to put it in the initial condition. Mati Lagoti,
Серьезный стритер.
also very serious street rider. Do you know where he comes from?
Слушай, ну,
Да не заворачивай. Давай.
Just leave it as it is.
иностранец.
So he's a foreigner for sure. Yeah, and that's enough to define whether he is a good athlete or a bad athlete. And what we've got?
Финальный, 8-й.
That's the final one and the 8th one.
Максим предоставляет.
And this is Maxim. Over to you. And this is Garrett Reynolds. It's absolutely icon. It's almost a creator of the street discipline after the 2010 or after 2005. So Garrett, it's something unbelievable. And the fact that Garrett will become a part of the Games of the Future in Kazan 2024, so for us it's a great honor, but also Garrett will enjoy what is going to happen for the first time in the BMX history. It's unbelievable. When I learned that Garrett will come, I said, well, okay, who else will come? Let us come up with invented name, because it's just unbelievable. He got 6 gold medals at X Games. Is just phenomenal, and he's an icon. His name is associated with the BMX. His name is BMX. And let's check the content of the teams.
Ну и, конечно же, друзья,
And of course, dear friends, I'm pretty sure that you could see team number 8, where Garrett Reynolds and Anar Aliyev will be competing. How these 3 people can be combined, and this is just Phygital BMX, and it's fantastic. I'm so jealous because he will be competing with 2 legends, and he will be playing video games. So Amara, if you're watching this, and I'm pretty sure that you are, I think he's practicing. He's not watching draws. He has to practice. You just can't let these guys down. So yes, absolutely true. This is something unbelievable, but we shouldn't underestimate other guys, and Tёma Andreev and Andrei Agarkov are also very good guys. So what are we going to do next? So here we have our teams. We have 8 teams, right? And now we will divide them into pairs. Do you have a last 8 stage? So you will take a team and then you will put it either to the left box or to the right box. And this is how we are going to come up with our pairs. Let's go. Drum rolls. Team number 8. Who will face team number 8? And this is team number 1. It will go to the box number 1, and immediately we will find an opponent to the team number 1. And this will be team number 4.
Нам бы еще вывести, кто у них, просто память-то у нас уже нет.
And at least we need to remember who is in the team number 4, because my memory is not that good.
Турнирную таблицу, я думаю, мы все увидим чуть позже.
So we will see the tournament table for sure in a couple of minutes. And the second pair, team number 6.
Хорошо. По-моему, кстати,
Okay.
братья, да?
Probably
Братья. Против кого братья играют?
there are 2 brothers. And who are they going to face? Well, at least it's okay that they will not be competing against each other. And team number 5 is the
Судя по реакции Вани,
rival.
он вообще в шоке.
Looking at Ivan's reaction, he is just shocked. Konstantin Andreev will be the opponent.
Напоминалку, вы
Just have a reminder, and since very morning you have to wait for this battle because it's something unbelievable. Team number 2, okay, team number 2. They will entertain.
Скорлупу суда 3.
Team number 3.
Так, у Вани опять.
Okay, team number 3. Ivan is a little bit surprised. Do you have any questions? Looks like we are not following the script. Well, that's okay, that's fine.
Команда номер 8.
Team number 8, and here it is. Here we go. I don't even remember what team.
Еще там есть шары.
What is the final team? Is it the final ball? Yes, it is. And team number 8 will face team number 7.
Кто у нас?
And who is
Ты помнишь?
in the team number 7? Do you remember?
Кто?
Who?
Сэндл против Дерса?
Settle against Derts.
Интересно.
Well, that's interesting. It's unreal. Well, listen.
Это было просто
In my view, it was just unbelievable. I can't give any more comments because just with one idea that all these guys will see each other at one venue in the games of the future, in the Phygital BMX discipline, just phenomenal. I want to grab your hand once again. I want to shake your hand once again. Thank you. It was just absolute, and thank you very much. You can stay because your great friend Pavel Tikhonov is already with my bro Turan, so Turan, over to you.
Ребят, пока вы там
Guys, while you were drawing your balls, we didn't waste our time because alongside me, a professional rider with a unique riding style, one of the creators of the Winter and BMX battle, as well as the organizer and the chief judge of this tournament, Pavel Nikonov. Pavel, how are you? Well, everything is okay, I'm fine, thank you. What do you think about the draw? Well, I was watching and it was so interesting. I'm shocked that so talented riders will come to Russia, and this format is something new for BMX. And given that we have games of bikes competitions and we take part in them, it will be something epic.
Макс,
Well, Max, he knows what it's all about. I'm not that deep into the BMX, so if you are not aware of BMX, what is BMX? BMX is a trick cycle that you can use for tricks, for making tricks. Can I just reduce a regular bicycle and use it for BMX competitions? Well, it depends on your skills, but BMX is a specialized bike. It's made of special materials, so all their components are very durable to withstand special loads. And with previous guests, we were discussing how their disciplines were developed in Russia. What about BMX in Russia? Well,
дословную, как бы, ну, наверное, с 90-х
BMX in Russia,
годов, ну,
it started all in 1990s. It's what I could see, it's what I know. It started since 1990s. It started in circuses where first BMXs appeared. They appeared from some foreign countries, so guys were performing in cycles and no one knew what BMX was about. It's just a trick bike, and then it just converted into something more available or accessible. So people brought it in a very small amount. It was a very rare thing, and skateboarding appeared before BMX, and that's why first riders used skateboarding figures. Then it started to develop in 2000s in Noidis. We started to progress, started to come up with new tricks, and the bike started to change the design. And what's your personal history? I started to ride in 1996, so for that time
тяжелый тогда.
my bike was very heavy.
Я велосипед себе это.
And I bought this bike to replace my regular iced bike, and it was very good just to ride, to do some tricks, to stand on packs, these spikes that you can see on the wheels. Then I started to watch different videos to learn some tricks, and that's how it went. I didn't have that transfer.
мода так
So there was a very high fashion in early 2000s, and you like a solid fan of BMX because some people were excited about BMX, but then they gave up. I just remember my schoolmates, but you stayed in BMX. Yes, I'm with BMX, and I will go until the very end with BMX. Yes, I have a lot of friends of mine who stopped riding. But still, we stay with those who are loyal to BMX. And I know that there are different directions in BMX. Can you give us an idea about them? So first, let me start with race. It's when it looks like a pump track, but it's a little bit bigger. And it's speed racing with full face protection on time for racing. Who is the fastest? Then we have disciplines like POC. On ready figures, people compete. Also, we have street when you use grinding, sliding, and also we have a balance discipline. It's like a dance on the bike, just to give you an understanding. Actually, in Russia, we see a lot of different parks opening. Even in Kazan, we have Uran Park, very modern. Some of them are public, some of them are private. What does it actually illustrate? Does it mean that BMX and extreme sports are so popular? Well, listen, my version is in Kazan, and I respect to Irik Kurizaev that he's from Kazan himself, and he developed BMX in his native city to a level that they have that kind of park. But during winter period, this park
Стрит там тоже есть.
is for park riding, and they also have a street zone, but it's more for skateboarding. If we take a place where we ride in Moscow, it's Boroda BMX street face. We have bigger figures for street, and I think that's the best park in Russia, and it's an indoor park.
Их очень
We are not going to talk about outdoor parks because there are so numerous in Russia. We have it in Iran, but it's only accessible in summer period. Well, that's clear, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kazan, but what about other regions of Russia? Well, BMX development comes from passionate people who are excited about BMX. You won't see indoor parks that come from the government just for granted. You have to do a lot to achieve it. What about financing? Sometimes it's like a commercial case. And I have a private question to you. I was always curious about BMX, and I couldn't switch from ice to BMX to make that additional step into the future. And now, after so many years, can I start riding, or it's all over? Yes, of course you can. At what age can you start riding? I think that any age is okay. So even today you can go to Boroda BMX park, rent a bike and start practicing. And how much time will it take me? It depends on your talent and on your commitment, but the more time you practice, the quicker you will get some results. So what to start with? You just take your bike and then you start to learn very simple tricks like a jump, a bunny hop, very basic things. You start to ride, you start to control. If you are a racer or a park discipline fan, you just need to know how to control your bike. If, for example, your children will come to you and say, "Dad, I want to ride a BMX," what will be your reaction? My reaction will be, "Yeah, of course, let's ride, let's go, I will give you everything." And what if your child will say to you, "Dad, I want to do skateboarding"? My reaction will be the same. If my child is passionate about anything, I will give that chance to them. If you like BMX, that's great. If you like skate, well, not a problem. Thank you very much, Pavel. And this is high time that we switch to the next discipline, which is Phygital Skateboarding.
Надеюсь, вы круто проводите.
So I'm hoping you having great time, guys, because you are staying with us. I'm just kidding, and probably that's thanks to immense help that we get from our strategic partner VK Play. We're up next to the team draw for Вкусная точка, Phygital Skateboarding, flips and other tricks. Raise your hand if you know what it's all about, and raise your hand if you are ready to do the same in the virtual reality. Well, that's great. Igor, it looks like no one understand what it's all about, but I know that Igor Bacharov is two hands for any type of mass because he is the international category judge and he is the curator in the Phygital Skateboarding. So Igor, just small talk about Phygital Skateboarding. How long have you been in Phygital Skateboarding, and is it true that you actually came up with the whole entity of Phygital Skateboarding on your own? So I started it on my own, and it's true. I'm not going to say that it's all about me, but I generated some ideas, and these ideas were later on corrected. So we have come up with it all together. So, but the idea of the format belongs to me. It took me some time to realize, to understand the theory and the practice of skateboarding. So can you tell me how different will be the concept of Phygital Skateboarding from what we saw in summer? So we will not judge the video game part, so we will not show the results, so we will judge it differently. So the game is just a complement to the real skateboarding. So for skateboarding, you will get a result, you will get a score, and it doesn't mean that you can multiply it for the video game. Because to be honest, if we see some parallels with football, so okay, you score and you score, but for us, so you make a trick and you have a wow effect, and you can make and you can get a score, but when it comes to the video game, it's not clear how to judge it correctly. So what did they do? How did they push these two bottoms all together? So, but anyway, it will be very interesting. So we
Играли в Mortal Kombat, и очки идут вровень, я думаю, ну как-то...
So it's like with the Phygital MMA, for example, they play Mortal Kombat, then they fight, and I think that it's not very correctly to judge them the same way. So tell me, please, whose result at the Phygital Skateboarding struck you the most? So I think the winners, the Yegor's team, I think they were the most serious, the strongest. I know that Yegor brought the guys to his house and they had some joint practice. Yegor, we love you and we send our regards to you. Anyway, I'm hoping that everyone is following us in the social media, and don't look at me like this, and we'll check. So he filmed a video from China, and he was very excited about the games of the future. He will be following us for sure. And what do you think? Yeah, I'm a little bit phrasing. I wanted to ask you about Western riders, because we are going to have a lot of Western friends. And what do they think about digital skateboarding? Some show some interest, some show some excitement because it's something new, very interesting. But from the past, I can tell you that the feedback is mostly positive. Okay, I see. So, my dear friend, I suggest that we start the drawing ceremony. And first, let me tell you what is going to happen. And as the part of Phygital Skateboarding, we are going to have a qualification stage. And now, according to our rules, we will have 4 qualification groups, and we will define the order of the teams that will be performing at the qualification stage. And why is it so important?
Well, we are going to have 16 teams in the qualifying phase. They all are going to make it the total ranking, and the best 8 are going to make it to the finals. I wanted to speak about such a detailed to those who are not very aware about skateboarding, when you are riding first, it's always very difficult because
По наценкам есть такая...
they are setting the bar, so to say, because when you are looking at the one rider who is performing the first, well, it's making it hard for those who follow, because he did a great job, he showed some great tricks, and then what do you do with the scores, with the points that you're going to award him? So in this drawing, thus, we are going to have a lot of interesting things. So traditionally, we start with Group 1, we get a ball from the box, and then going to make the Team 1, and then Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, then so on and so forth.
Я понимаю. Давай.
I'm just really eager to get the ball in my hands. So, okay, let's do it then.
Не повезет.
Okay, whether I'm lucky or not, the question is who is going to get lucky.
Команда Slugs.
And the first team is Slugs, young kids from Moscow. Maxim Yezhov is the leader of the team. Maxim, greetings to you. I made a great video with him from the summer Phygital Skateboarding.
Ну, это хороший
Я должен был
вопрос.
показать,
Да.
ребят.
Just show it to the camera. The team is called Slugs. When we made that video, I told him, well, Max, what is going on here? And he was like, well, all the guys here are really strong. All of them, they have some strong trick. What trick do you have? And he said, well, I have no tricks whatsoever. He's a very modest kid and strong charisma.
Открывать первую
Немножко
группу.
перетасовка.
Okay, so you will be the first ones in Group 1 in the qualifying heats.
Так, ой-ой.
Oh, wow.
Latino Gang.
Latino Gang.
Сильнейших.
That's one of the strongest teams.
Лолё.
They have Matias Delolio, who came to Russia. Well, he's almost Russian himself already. He travels so often to our competitions. Matias, maybe he's going to have a really strong guy in his team, Angelicara. We'll see if he does that. Well, he has drawn conclusions from the previous
Выбором трюков.
Phygital Skateboarding. Well, they had difficulties with the tricks that they could not repeat one after another, and Matthias was one of the first contestants who bought a video game console to practice more.
Нормальная практика. Так и надо делать, да, потому что это Phygital Skateboarding.
Well, I think that's how you go, because that's the Phygital Skateboarding. That's the only way to win such competitions, after all. And team number 3 for group number 1.
Тоже это будет.
Who is going to be team number 3? Horsepower.
Давай расскажем зрителям.
Well, let's tell our audience not really good news. Well, since you start speaking about that, the team leader was Kishot Johnson. Unfortunately, recently he passed away.
Аварию на шоссе.
He was in the car accident on a high-speed motorway. His team was named Horsepower in his honor, because our guys were calling him a horse because he was so strong and so beautiful, and they decided to use this name, and they're going to use a flag of Dallas with a horse in the center of the flag in his honor.
Станция такая материя, которая все очень тонко чувствует.
Well,
Мне приятнее всего.
every community feels things like this, and when a part of this community is leaving us, people in the community remember everyone, and the memory of them lives for very long. He was such a great person that he will never be forgotten. Now we are going to have team number 4,
Та-та-та.
who's going to be our team number 4.
World's Best Dressed. Лучше всех одет.
World's Best Dressed. That's a Spanish team.
Казань.
They also were in Kazan. They were led by Enrique Lorenzo,
Хорошие ребята.
Diego Hanna.
Ездит в
Good guys. Diego travels to Russia often, and he always has the greatest stories about how he travels to Russia, because he has to make 10
путешествие в Россию.
changes of the flights, or sometimes he fails a COVID test and so on. Okay, now we go to the group number 2. We've already seen group number 1,
Переходим ко второй. Давай.
and now we are moving on to group number 2.
Parceros Team.
Parcero's team.
Ну
Так,
что?
это у
Что там
нас
шпа-
And they are, what do you have in your notes here?
колумбийские друзья.
That's our Colombian friends. They also travel to Russia often. And I think they
Москвы, возможно,
stayed for a month in Moscow after the previous competition, so maybe they even know Moscow better than I do because they had enough time
мраморный спорт.
to see all our spots and they made a lot of videos with their tricks. And Camilo, he is going to release a video where we are going to see a lot of tricks from Moscow. Well, you did not say the main thing. Did he buy a video game console? Well, they already had one. Okay, so they came prepared.
В рамках
That's the first team within the group 2.
ну, то есть второй группы, да, прошу прощения.
Yes, I mean group number 2. Urban Panthers,
Пантеры
Городские
урбанистические.
like Panthers from somewhere urban, I guess. Who are they?
Честно, я не помню.
Oh, to be frank, I don't remember well. That's a normal thing to forget things. I can help you. Urban Panthers? Well, that's a team from Africa. They have kids from Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Ethiopia.
Будут тоже не первый раз.
And that's not their first time in Russia.
У нас на Гранд-Ски.
Yes, they were the Grand Ski Tour, and now they also have Chennai, now one of the leaders of the African skateboarding ranking, skating leaderboard. He was ranked fifth at the African Championship, so we have some big names here.
Силы Phygital Skateboarding.
Well, we'll see.
Команда номер...
Is he that good in Phygital Skateboarding? Okay, move on. We move on to the next team.
Red Solution.
Red Solution.
Имеет ли это что-то общее с Красной площадью?
Do they have anything in common with the Red Square? No, I guess some kind of red or radical solution. Red Solution is a team of Benjamin Garcias, a guy from France. He also traveled to Russia often. I think he traveled all the World Cup events. Well, he did not come for the tour event this year. Hopefully, he will refresh his love for Russia in the wintertime Kazan. Yes, we will treat him with chak-chak and the whole shebang. Well, let's tell you one thing. They have three people in the squad and the lineup, but the third one is the reserve player. Yes, I wanted to tell about these with one of the teams because they have it in their names. Okay, let's hold this thought. Well, let's see if you're lucky today. Are you going to draw the team that you wanted to speak about?
Long Necks. Не та команда.
Long Necks, no, not the team that I wanted to have. Well, it's an interesting name, Long Necks. This is a team from...
Таран-тан-тан. Это мои...
Bam, bam, bam. These are my friends from Australia. Well, how could you forget your friends? Well, it's hard to remember all the names. Long Necks. Their manager and their coach is my old friend, Nick Flark, called Team Bomb. We met back in 2013 in China 10 years ago at the spot, and then we started, to be friends. So I haven't lived with him in America. They're going to have a strong team. They are going to have a guy who's famous for his 200,000 subscribers. But you're not spoiling yet. You're speaking about the number of subscribers, but you are not speaking about any names here. Now we move on to group number 3 because we already have 4 teams in group number 2. Now we are going to have first team group number 3.
Угандамар Skate Brigade.
О,
Ugamadar Ski Brigade.
Будут ребята из Мадагаскара.
These are kids from Madagascar, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Это команда Уганда плюс
That the team
Уганда.
with guys from Uganda and from Madagascar. I always wanted to see what kind of skateboarding they have in Madagascar.
Года.
So Lofa is now one of the contestants for the Skater of the Year award.
Приезжает
And
третий раз будет.
I think it's going to be his 3rd time in Russia.
Когда мы его первый раз.
His story is truly unique. When we found him and invited him for the tour, he did not even had a
глубинки Мадагаскара.
have a passport. He was living in a remote village in Madagascar, and the entire village came to see him off before he traveled to Moscow. And when he traveled back, when he came back, all the federal TV channels were interviewing him.
Все обожают.
And everyone loves this guy. He's a great guy. He is a great rider. He's a great skater. And they have an interesting team. They have guys from Uganda, and they're also winning hearts now because they build a skate park out of clay. Well, an awful skate park, actually, because we would not be able to skate in there. But that's, when you prove how great you are, when everything goes wrong. So I think the better the conditions you learn to skate in, the better you're going to skate. But one way or another, welcome. We will be happy to see him at our Phygital Skateboard event.
Так, у нас сейчас вторая команда.
And now we have team number 2 for the group number 3.
Это
And this is Hustlers. We had them, yes. They still have the same name. They are going to have different
Атанасову
skaters
не будет участвовать
because Martin Atanasov is not going to have his
в Дании. Да, там будет
friend, but he is going to have some guys from Belgium and from Denmark, and they are going to be on fire. Because for Martin, it was hard to play video games last time. He did not prepare, but this time, I'm sure with the games of the future, well,
Конечно.
no jokes about this one. So he's going to practice hard to be prepared. The next team.
номер 3. Вот, на этой команде.
Now, this is the team that I wanted to speak about the number of people. Troy is large, so I can tell you one story about Semyon Kutuzov, and I asked Kutuzov, what kind of trick do you have? I am here, so this is my trick already being here.
Вот, на этой команде как раз можно сделать
Well,
ссылку на...
with this team, we can speak about the fact that every team has 4 skaters, but only 3 out of them are going to compete. How does it work even?
Во-первых,
Well, first of all,
командным видом спорта.
skateboarding has never been a team sport, with the exception of the game of rotor that Trevor used to do.
Несколько другой.
But still, the scoring system was a little bit different in there.
Обязательно 3 человек.
But here you have to have 3 people, and if something, God forbid, happens to someone, you're going to need a replacement, a substitution. So we allow them to bring in a reserve player. So Semyon Kutuzov
Что он везет с собой двое.
is so confident about his guys. He's bringing 2 reserve players. I love you. You are an awesome kid.
Россию. Он в этом году тоже все
Да.
This year he also won the championship. So it's second time in a row.
New Kids
Чемпионы.
Turbo.
New Kids Turbo.
Ребята, которые...
These are the kids that won the Phygital Skateboarding event that we held in the summer. Igor Kaldikov and his team. You will see Sava a little bit later because my brother Turan is going to interview Sava. But you don't need to learn more about Igor Kaldikov because everyone who knows about skateboarding in Russia, they all know Igor Kaldikov.
Скейтер крупного.
Yeah, Igor is the prominent skateboarder.
Серьезнее всех как будто подошел.
And it seems like he had the most serious approach to the previous competition, and I think he goes on practicing. He never stops practicing.
Следующая команда.
Well, the next team, the Flacos.
Небольшая рокировка.
Колумбия, что ли?
Нет,
Colombia? No, mainly from Spain.
Флако, ну, по сути, команда
Well, Flacos, it's named after Christian Delgado,
в России. Он
who got stuck in Russia after the previous skate tour. Well, it's some kind of trend for them to get stuck in Russia. Well, Moscow is a great city because, well, it would be a shame not to get stuck in here.
Споты и...
We have a lot of spots, we have a lot of parks, and people are so kind-hearted.
просил, просто дайте мне
Ну,
паспорт.
после Phygital игр...
After the Phygital Games or the Games of the Future
с тобой оказалось...
held in Kazan, we will have a chance to speak about Kazan. Kazan in February is a beautiful place. Well, I'm really curious to look at the guys from Africa in the snowy Kazan in February. So we still have 2 to go, with the exception of this one. So this is the 3rd one, and the 2 of them are in the box. Turkish Delight is the next team. This is the team from Turkey.
Они приедут к нам
They are going to come
Да, они тоже были у нас на гранд-скейт-туре.
Yes, they were at the Grand Skate Tour. If I'm not mistaken, one of them is the owner of a skate shop.
Так что посмотрим, как
So we'll see.
они. Сладости же.
Turkish delight is something, it's like sweets, right? Like candy. Well, yes, we'll see. Probably they're going to bring some Turkish delight with them. I will be looking forward, you guys, so please
Ну-ка,
bring me some too.
сразу, может, достанем.
So maybe let's get two at once? No, no, no. Well, no tricks about here. I'm not going to have this responsibility.
Предпоследнее.
I'm not ready for it yet.
Digital Deck.
Digital deck dudes.
Диджитальные.
Well, some digital dudes. Okay.
Да.
It's a Russian team.
Денис.
Yes, led by Denis Yusufovich.
У него, кстати, в команде Кирилл.
And in his team, he also has Kirill Gurin, who was the first competition, the first event in Kazan, but he stayed in the reserve. But so he made his conclusions, he analyzed the opponents, and then he used all the necessary practice routines, and now he makes his return to the first team. We'll see how they perform. And this team now also has Vlad Zhitnyuk, who was at the winning team, but he was also in the reserve with the winning team. I think every day he was dyeing his hair a new color.
Влад такой выразительный.
Yes, well, Vlad is a flamboyant kind of guy. Well, with this kind of approach, you have to display your abilities. Lunar Invaders. That's the team who invaded the moon. Well, I'm wondering too. These are our friends from Iran, Oman, and Bahrain.
Я вот только что, кстати, с ними виделся буквально на той
I
неделе.
have just met them last week in Saudi Arabia. Yes, I saw on your social platforms that you spent time there. Well, guys,
4 группы, они сейчас
we have 4 groups. You can see these groups on your screen.
квалификация. Ну а кто будет?
That's the order of them skating.
Мы
But who's going to win Vkusny Tochka Phygital Skateboarding event? We'll learn soon. Well, thank you very much for your help with the draw, but now I'm going to give the floor to my homie, because he's got a very interesting guest there with him. So let's move on.
Перейти к нашему гостю, необходимо сказать...
Before we speak to our guests, we'd like to say a couple of words about our partner, Vkusny Tochka. They are a leading fast food chain. This year, company sponsored the Phygital Skateboarding competition Game of the Future, and Vkusny Tochka are a perfect combination. What they have in common is not only their attention to trends, continuous more movement forward, but also their loyalty on the part of young people. Games of the Future have already become a trend that is changing the sports landscape, uniting not only different formats of competitions, physical and e-sports, but also different generations. We are glad that Vkusny Tochka supports this process, shares our values, and supports all the contestants. And we have here with us a beautiful person, a winner of the first competition in Phygital Skateboarding. Sava Vostokov. Sava, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing fine. How did you get here? Well, okay, it was really hard to find the place, this VK Pavilion. I was walking all around the park. Well, what matters is that you are here with us. Yes, I am. Let's look back a little bit at the first Phygital Games. We met the first time in the summer. Yes, I remember that. So how did you like the first ever Phygital Skateboarding competition? Well, damn, that was good. Even though they were the first games ever, not everything was thought through, but that was awesome. And the teams were, all the contestants were great. And damn, the contest itself, that was really awesome. Everything was up to high bar. Yes, we had Yegor and Tony in our team. How was it to compete with such legends? Oh man, that was really worrisome, really excited. Dudes from various countries traveled here. Well, it was a little bit scary, but, well, we succeeded. Did someone support you, some advice? Well, yeah. Yegor, we practiced with him a lot. We went to skate park to train there. So before the competitions, you mean? Yes, every day we were pumping our skills.
Я у всех традиционно...
And that's my question for everyone about their background, of their experience in various disciplines. The kids that were here before you, they spoke about their experience in BMX. Let's hear about your background. How did you join this skateboarding sports? What are your plans for the future? Well, I was like really small. My mom and I, we were walking in the park. I saw skaters, and then I got really carried away. Right away, we really bought an awesome skate in the store, and I didn't have any instructors, so I met some friends in the skate park in Perovo. Well, and I was training really hard there, and until the moment came when I started to do it professionally. So how much time do you spend on practicing? Well, it's really random because I have to go to school, but I'm trying to practice every day to spend some time, and before the Phygital Games, I will have to really train hard, even harder than last year. I will have to work really hard. But you've got a coach, an instructor. Well, really, I was still doing on my own, learning tricks on my own, because skateboarding is a discipline. It's like a freestyle discipline. You have to enjoy the stuff you do. You should not be really tense, thinking about any objectives. Oh no, today I have to learn a trick. No, you are just enjoying riding, and you are learning. Do you have a lot of bumps and bruises? Oh, you may say so, I guess. But I didn't have any serious injuries. One time I hit my head, injured my arm, but I don't really think about it. Nothing special. And skateboarding, there are also various disciplines from what I understand. Can you speak about various disciplines within skateboarding? Well, there is, street, and there is park, like when you skate in the skate parks, in the ramps. I'm an absolute layman. I just saw people skating in the summer. I saw the tricks that you were doing, but I didn't really dig deep into the particularity of each discipline. So what is the specifics of every discipline? Well, in bowl, you need to have a range, an amplitude. You spend more time in the air. And in the street discipline, there are more jumps from the stairs, from the ledges, and so on. So you have to use your knees more. And street discipline is more dangerous, one might say. And there is also freestyle skateboarding, when you're just riding on the ground, spinning your skate around and stuff like that. So there is a lot of stuff to do with skate. Well, I will ask you the same question I asked Pasha before. A lot of skate parks or extreme sports parks nowadays. Why do we have this trend now? Extreme sports are becoming fashionable, or what's happening? You mean the fact that we have so many skate parks? Yes, we have this trend developing right now. I mean, it's great that these extreme sports are being developed. I think it's just interesting for the people to look at something extreme. For how many years you've been skating? Well, for 9 years. And over these 9 years, does it feel like many people are now into skateboarding, or still at the same level? No, like many times more. Now there is internet, and now there is going to be games of the future. And even more people will join skateboarding. Well, the idea of the Phygital movement is to bring people together to harmonize these two parts of the virtual reality and, actual regular sports. What do you think? Is there any future for this idea, for this format? And what kind of other sports, apart from skateboarding, would you like to try yourself in? No, I mean, my heart belongs only to skateboarding. You are like a real fan, die-hard fan. Well, I think Phygital is a great thing, and I think it will get better and better with every time, with every competition. So already now it's really popular. It seems like across Russia. And the question then, what qualities, what skills a skater should have? I think a skater should always work hard, should be passionate about what they do. So it should not be some kind of obligation that you have to exercise. No, you should be in love with skateboarding. like the meaning of life. Well, meaning of life, one might say, yes.
Ну и как бы,
And,
не знаю, ну да,
well, I don't know. Yes, working hard. I would like to put an emphasis on this skill. Well, I guess we have a
Когда
huge age difference, and when we were told that we should go to the gym,
играете, меня не трогайте.
our physical education teacher was just giving us some ball to play with, and like, kids, leave me alone, just don't bother me.
Вы
Maybe that's how it's happening now as well. But if you had a choice to choose to pick an extreme sport, an extreme discipline, for example, in the physical education classes, you can, practice with your skate.
Возможно ли такое?
Would it be possible, anything like this, that the younger generation could choose? Like they would add skating lessons in school? Well, I don't know.
не знаю.
That would be cool.
Я не знаю, это
I don't know how it could be. Would it be cringe or would it be great? Well, I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's more of a street thing,
деятельность.
a street activity. But if such classes were introduced, would you be glad to be a part of it?
Круче.
Yes, the more kids are doing something like that, the better it is. So maybe they could add this to schools. Apart from skateboarding, are you a fan of something else? Maybe esports, some video games?
Чё на самом деле?
Well, nothing really. Only skate.
Жизнь. Не знаю.
Skate is my whole life.
Учёба очень
And
прям очень жестко. Я сейчас
Подожди,
после...
studies are getting in the way, or skateboarding is getting in the way for your studies. Well, it both ways. I think after this interview, I have to pass an exam. I was told, so if you are not on time, I mean in your school, but I have an interview. We don't care. You have to pass this test, pass this exam. It's really strict in there. But well, what are you gonna do? You need an education. How much time does it take practice skateboarding every day?
Заниматься, типа, когда вообще людей нет.
Well, I'm trying when the parks are not crowded for 2 hours in a row, then I get some rest, and then 2 more hours. So I guess 4 hours. You were telling this story about how you joined these sports, these disciplines. So what do your parents think about what you're doing now? Do you get support from your mom, who was the one who probably bought the first skate for you? Yes, she was happy
Попросил скейт.
that I wanted to get something, that I got interested in something. She always supported me. Are they happy when you win competitions? Well, of course they are. You can say your hellos to your parents. Oh, mom, dad, sister, all the relatives, all my family, grannies, grandpas, grandmas. Well, thank you so much, Sava, for spending this time with us. Best of luck at your test. I hope you will pass it. But now we are moving on. Now we are going to have Phygital martial arts. Cool.
Итак, дорогие друзья,
And dear friends, we're back to the VK Pavilion, where we have the draw for the games of the future. And next, we're going to have a very splendid discipline. Who is stronger, Peter Yan or Bruce Lee, Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alexander Nevsky, or just good movies? Well, that was just a joke. However, fighting game simulator open up a lot of room for our imagination. It's in fighting games we can play for the best fighters, both fictional and real. But it wouldn't be a Phygital sport if it were that simple. Dear friends, let us determine the participants of the discipline Liga Stavok, Phygital Fighting or Phygital MMA. And of course you understand that I cannot take that responsible task alone. That's why I have to tell you that we are going to have 4 weights. And in the first category, I will get help from the executive director of RCC League, by the way, the most spectacular MMA organization in our country, in Russia, in Yekaterinburg, Nikolai Klimenko. Let me shake your hand. Welcome, and it's my pleasure to have you. So before we start, I would like to ask a few questions to you. But let's say just a few words about the regulations. There will be 4 people in the team and 4 teams, and there will be 4 ways. And we are going to draw them up. So the question that I'm really concerned, I know that you still do martial arts yourself. So you go to the ring, you have sparring, and if you were offered to participate in the games of the future, would you accept it? So actually I would consider, but unfortunately in Russia there are not a lot of promoters with who we could have a battle challenge, but probably next year we need to sit and think, and maybe we can do it. But you will compete in Phygital fightings. Yes, just to have everything as a fair play. So that's why we came here, because we are the best promoters in this discipline. So that's why, dear friends, please sign up and remember this date. So, and we will elaborate on that matter with our Phygital lab, how to combine everything and put together. So I will be competing at the end of 2023, but we would like you to come to Kazan in 2024. Okay. We will see you at the end of 2024 and we'll set the venue. So tell me please, did you play fighting games as a kid? Yes, of course, and I would tell you more that I came to MMA through fighting games. In 1990s I played Mortal Kombat. It's the top game, I think. So this is the game that helped me to stop doing fighting. So it looks like you are a real example of digitalization, because yes, in 1990s I was playing Ninja Turtles, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. I was a big fan of these games, and of course it had an impact on me. So okay, I got what you were passionate about as a kid, but still, do you still play? Yes, just 1 month ago I finished a new Mortal Kombat, the plot, the single player, and also I played Ninja Turtles. So it looks like that in RCC office there should be a game console. No, unfortunately we don't have it. Maybe next year we will buy it. Yes, because next year we are going to have New Year in just 1 week. So yeah, probably we will do it, or maybe you can give it to us as a gift. So yeah, for sure you need to have a game console in your office. So you say that you are such a big fan of Mortal Kombat. Maybe you have your favorite character. It has always been Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero? Is it? Do you know what Imba is? And do you think that Sub-Zero is Imba? Yeah, it's a cheater player. Well, I think that a lot of change in Mortal Kombat. Or Smoke is a cheater character, because a lot of Phygital fighters are choosing him. Well, actually, I didn't follow that so accurately. I just finished the single mode, and back in the days when it was MK3 trilogy, I was playing for Sub-Zero. Okay, we will discuss imbalanced characters once again, because we need to deep dive into it. So
не я писал.
It wasn't written by me, by the way, but I have to ask that question.
Делал ли ты?
Did you do fatalities in the ring?
Делал.
Only KO, only knockouts, and that's my maximum.
Мы можем после жеребьев.
So after the draw, we can actually see who is stronger, but not in the ring, because in the ring you will not have any chance, and it wasn't written by me anyway, so don't blame me.
Наш
So looks like that our editor had some humor, had some sense of humor. So let's imagine that, I don't know whether you are married or not, but imagine that you have two kids, both come to you and say, Daddy, I'm going to MMA, and the second one says, I'm going to play Mortal Kombat. Who will you love more?
Думаю, они послушаются.
I think they will have different schedule. That's why they will have time for everything, for real sport and for phygital sport, esports, I mean. And eventually, I love both of my kids because they do the same. So I really hit the target. You have that case? No, it's not real right now, but it's possible in the future. So you mentioned the schedule. What is the Phygital Fighter schedule? So obviously, you have to pay some time for preparation, not just for real fighting, but for virtual part as well, because Phygital is built in a way that
без этого чемпионом не стать.
you can't become a champion if you ignore one part or a virtual part. So if we imagine how can be a training process of a Phygital athlete can look like, well, I think it will be pretty much the same. It's a good diet, it's sleep, it's recovery, and your leisure time. Obviously, these are very important things, but I ask you, when they will be playing on a console,
После физического.
so after some training or some exercises or before, how do you think this should be organized? So if you prepare, you need to play at least 2 times a day. In the morning, you start with a video game, then you get off this stress,
Вот почему
and then you can have a daily sleep. So why I pay attention, so much attention to that thing? Because if we even take a Phygital football,
очень сильная игра. Потому что футбольный симулятор, но я не.
we know that football simulator is very important. Imagine that you have a team
И при счете 0.
and they conceded 5 goals, and then they go to a real pitch, and morally it's very difficult to oppose,
Я понимаю, высокий...
to play, to compete. You mean that high stress?
Ну ты просто.
Ну да, я...
Yeah. You just lost everything in the first stage, and that's a lot of stress. So you have to compensate. You need to know how to compensate, because sometimes it's difficult to do physical things, and you can get rid of the stress in the virtual reality.
Ну, то есть ты, наверное, ну, с твоих слов, как я понимаю, что хорошо.
So as far as I can understand, you think that both things are very okay? Yes, I think they can be combined. So
Не будет, мне кажется.
So first you can play video game, and then you can proceed with physical exercises. So dear friends, remember everything that we say, because we are going to have a draw on Phygital Fighting. My final question to you. So we have Phygital Martial Arts. You can see Phygital Skateboarding, Phygital BMX. What disciplines
В нашей семье.
are we missing in our Phygital society? Wake tech? Yes, I'm riding or snowboarding. Why not? And do you ride on snowboard? Yes. And where do you like to do snowboarding?
У нас на Урале...
Well, in the Urals, there are a lot of places and cities where you can ride. But of course, I really like Krasnaya Polyana. It's our favorite home. Well, that's great. Looks like we have
Что прямо сейчас стартует.
ran through all the details, and I have to say that we're going to start the draw. The first weight class, and we will start with the heaviest one, which is 77.1. And let me say that there will be 4 athletes in a team, but everyone will
вытягивать себе
individually
то есть вытягивать
be choosing the opponent. It's not like a team versus team. It will be like athletes against athletes inside the team. So please come over. Here are our pairs, and we are going to have 4 pairs. Yes, you're absolutely right. And let's start with the first weight.
Так, давай покажем
Okay,
камеру.
let us show to that camera. Michael Dubois.
Правильно? Как правильно? Команда
Ну,
Гор
да.
ММА.
Well, let's call him that way.
Можешь ли ты рассказать что-то про это?
So, do you know anything about that athlete, that fighter? He didn't compete in my league, so that's why it's difficult to say something about him. Probably he came from Brasilia. I know that they have very good MMA fighters, so can't tell you anything exact about this guy. And let's move on.
Вот так вот. Эдуард Мартиросян, правильно?
Edward Martirosyan, MMA fighters.
Может,
Здесь тоже ничего не добавлю.
So can't say anything about him. Well, that's okay. Let's put him in that box, and that would be the first pair.
О! Адам Смит.
Adam Smith, Smash Academy.
Ну, тоже ничего не могу подсказать.
So can't you give you any details about him as well?
Принято, принято.
Well, got it. Let's put it.
Ну, большая
Here.
международная команда выступает.
And we have a very big international team. We can't know everyone, unfortunately. And he will be facing Atmani Ryan, Arabian Warriors. And we can
Представитель
assume that this is a guy from maybe Arab Emirates.
Ты пока открывай,
So
показывать в камеру
while you open,
по моей команде.
Все.
we will show the next athlete to the camera upon my command. Just get ready.
Боец будет тебе. Все, можем показывать.
So yes, we are ready. Show us. And this is Ilyas Hamzin, Games of Fighters.
Его я, конечно, знаю.
Of course, I know him personally. Do you?
STC.
Yes, he's from RCC. He is the most popular fighter in our league. He has very good level. He knows how to fight. In a special posture. And I think that the fight will be great.
Комбат, можно сказать.
So, and what about
Больше.
this special posture? It's like in Mortal Kombat. There is no pater, no something like that. So he's just in the upright position. And you know, we are touching upon very difficult terms, especially from the Phygital world. And his pair is
Слушай,
Vladislav Sukalenko, Kuznia. Well, I know him.
у нас в рамках, у нас же было 10.
So we had 10 Phygital games that took place in Kazan, and he was at one of the competitions. By the way, we had 2 MMA test events, and in summer I met him. And they even won. Yes, he's the champion. Here we go. So, Vlad, very happy to see you.
В общем, вот, ты понимаешь?
So, yes, it's a
Едем дальше. У нас
very intricate thing.
Милсон Кастро.
Milson Castro, RCC.
Ты знаешь его?
Well, let me guess, you know that person. Yes, I do. This is a top fighter. He's so great.
Долгое время был.
And for a very long time, no one could beat him. So I think he will show something. And you need to add something. But in the virtual part, he will become even better. Yes, for sure. So we will buy a game console for the next year, and we will be getting ready. And this is our final participant in this weight class. Milson rival. Shamithan Magomedov of
Магомедов.
MK team.
Шамдиханов, правильно? Извини, пожалуйста, если я неправильно твою.
So very sorry if we mispronounce your names, but this was Shamithan Magomedov from MK team. That was the final pair, and that was 77.1 kilos world weight class. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me shake your hand, and now I would like to give the floor to Turan because I see that his magnificent guest is already with him.
Макс, спасибо большое.
Thank you very much, Maxim. And we continue our flash interviews, and with me, magnificent, splendid, beautiful Maria Makhmutova. She is deputy chairman of the All-Russian Collegium of Judges of the MMA Union, judge of all Russian and international categories. Hello. Did I mention it correctly? So how did you find yourself in this discipline? Well, accidentally. It's just an accident, a happy accident. Well, I was doing MMA for myself, and my coach decided that it was just too boring for me. I need to make my life a little bit diversified, and you have become a judge. When you watch someone fighting, do you have that desire to step in, to show something? No, I don't have that desire. And what's easier and what is more difficult? Well, it depends. It depends. Everything is difficult. In the cage, it's very difficult, and for fighters, it is very difficult, and to judge it is difficult as well, and to assist it is very difficult as well. So you have to do your job, and these jobs are very special. So I'm asking my guests about their stories. Can you tell us about how you started this journey? So I have been into fighting around 20 years now. So I started with some light things like Aikido. Well, is it a girl thing? Well, absolutely girl sport. So then I started to do karate, boxing, and then as a final stage it was MMA, but it was just for myself, for my interest. I didn't want to fight in the cage because I'm not allowed to. It can have a very bad end if I make it to the octagon, and this is how it ended. A decision has been made to send me to a judge, to a refereeing seminar, and I have become a judge. So how does it happen? Do I have to go through a course? Yes, to come to a seminar, you listen to a theoretical part, then you have some practice in the octagon, and if you have good marks, so go on, you can go and try. Also, you need to work with psychologists probably, so you don't take it too seriously. So we didn't achieve it yet, but probably one day we will do it. It can be helpful. I think it's helpful for everyone. So we mentioned reality, and now a few questions about virtual things. Are you a fan of video games? No, I'm not a player, in fact. Maybe because I don't like to lose, so when it comes to games where you have to fight, like fighting games, I'm not talking just about fighting games, I'm talking about video games in general. Well, of course, when a friend of mine says, if you are concerned about something, just play Fruit Ninja, and it really helps to deal with stress. So yes, I can play some casual games or some intellectual games to have that mental load. So we are somehow in the virtual world. So what are your expectations from the games of the future? So probably as a spectator, I really want to see good competition, brilliant fights, vivid fights. As a referee, I really want to avoid any injuries. So I think that martial arts is the main discipline for the games of the future. In terms of number of possible injuries, well, probably you are right, but the octagon will show what's going to happen. Got you. In fact, I really wanted to ask you about MMA, how people train specifically for these fights, because as far as I know, and I had experience with guys who came to us earlier, and they said that a few months ahead of the competition, we start to lose weight, we wake up at a certain time. So how does it happen among professional athletes?
Well, professionals, they usually know who they are going to fight against, and they are preparing with their coaching staff to prepare for. Well, they study their opponent, they study how does he perform in the octagon, and then you are preparing for this particular fighter. Then there is a nutritionist and a psychologist. You want to have one in your team so that the entire training routine was under the close watch, so that the fighter was in good shape both mentally and physically for the competition. As for losing weight, that's a separate thing. It's one of the main objective is to teach athletes, to teach fighters how to get your weight where you want it without any damage to your health. Well, for some fighters it takes months. Well, others, they may try to do it on short notice. It may be dangerous. Well, you know, often it happens that you know you can lose. It's not that it's dangerous for your health. Yes, you just have less chances to win. Oh, it's dangerous for your victory. Let's put it this way. Maria, thank you very much. That was very interesting, informative. But now we move on to the next draw. We are now going to have the next weight class to draw.
Итак, Туран, спасибо тебе большое. Ну, а мы двигаемся дальше.
Ron, thank you very much. And now we are moving on. We have the next weight class, and I have here Andrei Gramkovsky with me, CEO of UFC Eurasia. Are you nervous? Well, yes, I'm nervous. Of course, every draw is a nervous moment. It's one of the essential moments with every competition. It's as if you're going to pick your opponent here. Well, almost. It's almost like I'm about to enter the octagon. Well, let's tell our audience, you can stand in here already. The next weight class is 70.3, and you'll be the one to, you know, to do stuff. It's one of the greatest weight categories, weight classes. For example, there are Ahmar Usman in this one. It's a lightweight. Shavkat, one of the Leon adverts. These are very popular. That's a great weight class, and I think it's going to be really interesting. So we start then. I'm opening this all up. Okay, and the first one, and then show it to the camera. Here, Viktor Kolesnik from Kuzня, and as I said, they won the second time, the second martial arts tournament. Well, congratulations for Viktor then, and let's see who he's going to fight against. Well, you don't have to roll it back, you just put it in there. Now, his opponent in the fight is
Ahmed Fares.
Ahmed Fares, Arabian Warriors. That's right. Let me look it up. What's his name? You said Ahmed Fares. He's from Egypt. Do you know him? Because you speak so confidently about him. No, I know about him. I know who he is. It's an interesting fighter from what I remember. Maybe he's even an Egyptian champion in kickboxing or something. So this guy has a vast experience in martial arts.
Симуляторы есть.
Oh, that's interesting. If whether he's got that experience in video games. Well, we'll see. I think Phygital is always,
Вопрос. Это как с пением.
it's like with singing. You can learn to sing.
Профессионально дерет,
And for a professional fighter,
можно.
I guess he can learn how to play video games. Anyway, it's easier than for a gamer to learn how to fight in the octagon.
Итак, значит, наш следующий.
So our next fighter is Hayal Janiyev, RCC.
Да, представитель Азербайджана.
He's from Azerbaijan.
Команда РСС, соответственно.
Well,
Он будет
RCC team. And we're going to have the next pairing now. He's going to fight against
Александр Ковалев.
Alexander Kovalov, Gore MMA.
Гор ММА, соответственно. О, представитель Беларуси. Мне
Oh, he's from Belarus.
Хорошая такая получается.
I think, well, it's going to be an interesting fight. Probably I know him as well. Maybe I'm mistaken. It's going to be an interesting fight as well. Because
Все-таки, когда
when you... Oh, in Belarus, they also have their history of martial arts. They had a number of really good fighters in UFC or in other
часто Белоруссия как бы
tournaments in other leagues.
многие белорусские бойцы недооценены.
So a lot of Belarusian fighters are underestimated. Well, it's a good chance to prove yourself, the games of the future in this new format. And the next pairing is Magomed Rasul Magomedov, MK team.
Так, представитель России.
He's from Russia.
Это вся информация, которая у меня.
That's all I know. That's
У нас,
all I know about him.
если я ничего не путаю,
MK team is, if I'm not mistaken,
первых наших.
they were the champions of the very first trial
Это интересно.
competition.
Он встретит
That's interesting. And he's going to fight against Magomed Rasul is going to fight with Lee Morrison from Smash Academy.
Интересно, что абсолютно вся.
That's interesting that the entire Smash Academy team is going to come to us from the United States of America. Well, that's true. Smash Academy is from there. Well, let's see what their academy is up to. It's going to be an interesting fight, Russia vs. America.
последняя пара.
Давай.
And the last pairing, let's see, in this weight class,
Арсений Алексанян.
Arsen Alexanan,
Арсен Алексанян, да. MMA fighter.
MMA fighters.
Да.
Oh, yeah, I see him. Well, he's from Armenia.
Так. И он у нас встретится.
And he's going to fight with, drum roll,
Только переверни.
just know the
Подводка была классная.
different round.
Тимур
Timur Nagibin,
or fighters.
gamers or fighters.
Геймеры или бойцы?
Да.
Вот проверим.
That's what they are. Who do you choose, gamers or fighters? So we'll see what kind of fighters they are. Probably it's an easy choice in any way.
Разобрались, позволь.
So, okay, this weight class we have dealt with, and now we are looking forward for interesting fights, 100%. And we are looking forward for interesting questions from Turan. Turan, over to you.
Рядом со мной боец ММА.
I have here with me MMA fighter, captain of the Archangel Michael team, coach of the Gamers for Fighters team at the Games of the Future, number 6 Russian flyweight, winner of the RCC Awards 2023 in the Fighter of the last 5 years nomination.
Штырков.
Hulk of the Urals, Ivan Shtirkov. Vanya, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing just great. And the first question, why Hulk of the Urals? Well, actually, this nickname, my fans came up with it a long time ago after I had a couple of fights. Well, and it just stuck. That's not something that I came up with. Well, I can't say that I'm in love with this nickname, but that's became my trademark now, and I'm not looking for anything else. If people want it this way, let it be this way. You have a big background in MMA. Can you tell about it a little bit? Well, it all started, well, quite a long time ago, not that long ago, as I would have wanted. I started when I was 25 or 26. I had my first fights. For a long time, I was into sambo. Since I was 6, it was like this Russian martial arts discipline. But then there was a breaking point when I wanted to try something new, and MMA started becoming a thing in Russia and in our region, and then decided to try myself. And then, well, I did quite well. And then people started to invest more in it, to develop more, and now we have academies, we have our own promotion, RCC, our own MMA promotion. I don't even remember how many fights I have, more than 20 for sure in MMA. And thank God, 90% of those I won. Oh, I fought against some really good guys. Some were famous, some were not. Well, after you defeated them, they were not famous anymore. I mean this. Well, you always have respect for your opponents. That's just the work we do, nothing personal about it. And preparing for the games of the future, will it be any different from, from the classic MMA, classic fighting? Oh, yes, there is this additional aspect, and some guys, they have no experience of playing video games. So first, they will try to learn how to play Mortal Kombat, and then they will do things that they've been doing for decades. Of course, it's easier for them in the octagon than having a controller in their hands in a video game. And another interesting feature of these games of the future that for the virtual fight, you are awarded more points than for the real fight, from what I understand. So we will try to do better, because some guys, they don't even know what a video game console is or how to play video games. That's the main difficulty, but we still have time. Well, and that's a challenge, an interesting challenge for me as a coach and for the organizers, for those who are going to organize this training routine. Will they be able to train to perform better at the video games? Well, thank you very much for being here with us. Our greetings to the Urals, and now we move on to the next weight class. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Итак, дорогие друзья, мы едем дальше.
Dear friends, and we move on. We have the next weight class, and we have here with us Vyacheslav Kamnev, CEO of MMA TV channel and MMA Series League. Vyacheslav, welcome. Please stand in here right away. Let's tell our audience that the next weight class is 65.8 kilogram, and the third weight class is also male weight class, men's weight class, and let's start.
Так, барабанная дробь.
Drum roll.
Показываем вот в ту.
And you show it to that camera. Anzor Abzhamov, MK team.
Знаете ли вы что-то про эту команду?
Do you know anything about the team? Apart from the fact that they won the first Phygital games. What matters the most is how they perform in the competition, not what we know about them. Grisha Melkonyan, MMA fighters.
Так.
Непростой парень.
Well, that's an interesting guy. He lives in Murom, but he is of Armenian
Значит, какому делу?
origin.
Что непростой боец?
So in what way he is an interesting fighter? I just watch his fights, so he's not going to be an easy opponent for anyone. Denis Zhukov from Kuzня. I love Kuzня. Well, Kuzny, these are our lads. Yes, they are.
Ну и к тому же они уже побеждали.
Besides, they have already won, so they know how it works. Yes, they won the second trial games. Denis Lavrentiev, gamers or fighters?
Совершенно верно. Тоже представитель.
He's also from Russia.
Lucas Nascimento.
Lucas Nascimento, a guy from Brazil. Gore MMA, also an interesting fighter. Yes, I know about Gore MMA. We saw a lot of their fights, a lot of videos about them on our channel. So real professionals. Akram Nasri, Arabian Warriors.
Но это представитель Алжира.
He is from Algeria. Well,
У нас же много стран.
here you go. We have a lot of countries participating.
Больше 100 стран.
At the games, we're going to have more than 100 countries. Well, we'll have a lot to talk about and a lot to see. Jorge Juarez, Smash Academy from the United States of America, as we previously said. They are going to bring an interesting, good team for the games of the future to Kazan.
И крайне у нас
And last but not the least, Halim Nazruloyev, RCC.
Смотрю, наблюдаю.
Yes,
Все бдят, все...
they are watching everything. Everything is
Что, Вячеслав, еще раз.
transparent and clear. Once again, Vyacheslav, thank you very much. So we are done with the men's weight classes, but we are not done with Turan. Turan, over to you again.
Рядом со мной Андрей Громковский.
I here have Andrei Gramkovsky, a person who has just drawn his lot, one might say. He's the CEO of UFC Eurasia. And the first question that we've got, UFC is our, well-known letters, abbreviation MMA. How did you get there? Oh, it was a long story. We started 6 years ago, and UFC wanted to launch and to host tournaments in our region, in our part of the world. They have not done that before, and then at a certain point, they found partners, and they decided to launch a joint project that would take charge of organizing tournaments, of broadcasting, of social platforms, of sponsorship activities, and of public relations and marketing and so on and so forth. And I had to pass the entire selection process. There was a contest. We never speak about details because that's it's confidential. But I have to be frank. No one guaranteed it to me that I would become a part of this process. I had to prove. I had to put down a strategy of development, and I had to, explain why that's the right strategy. And over these 6 years, we proved that we are I think we are the largest sport organization in the region in social media, because we have millions of subscribers on social media. And I'm sure those people who want to become part of UFC fighters, amateur fighters, how does one join UFC? Well, usually the qualification is done in the following way. First, an athlete performs at amateur leagues, at amateur competitions, then they move on to the professional competitions, and after they participate in the regional professional leagues, they can move on to the international leagues, including UFC, and they are selected, scouted by agents. That's like the entire scouting process. The same as it happens, for example, with musicians and other talents, other trades, other professions, where you have a lot of talented people. So it's some kind of a natural competition that goes on with time, and that's how fighters make it to UFC. And if they make it to the UFC, then it's a guarantee that they are going to be popular and famous. Of course not. Fighters, when they join the UFC, they have a number of fights that they can use to prove themselves, and after that, it's a matter of their skills, of their media activity, media skills, and their fighting skills, because media skills are important, because it's important how to create your own character, how do you present yourself to the media, how can you make yourself interesting for the audience, to have your own target audience. It's always important. And there are some fighters who know how to do it, first, subconsciously, then they make a more conscious effort to do that, and we try to teach them to do that, and they grow with time. And those who are really well in this, they really grow to be real celebrities, real stars. Do you have a video game console in the office? Well, of course we do. What kind of games do you play there? A lot of martial art games, fighting games,
Мы даже
Ну, Mortal
делали...
Kombat есть.
Do you have Mortal Kombat? Well, of course. We even held a competition, a championship with our partners who went to our office and they played a game.
Честно скажу, я после этого задумался вообще, хочу ли я дальше проводить такие...
And after that, I started thinking whether I really want to hold such competitions because I ranked last. So among our some of the contestants, and they were not fighters, they were managers of the fighters, agents. So, and you can't really complain to them, guys, why do I rank last? How is that possible? But I was also happy to lose because we play often, and a lot of fighters, they play video games, and they are not shy of that. They're not trying to hide that because this competitive element, this game element is important to them because for them it's a great stress relief instrument. How does it help in the real world, and does it help in the real world? Well, first of all, it's a stress relief exercise. Then, well, it's a competitive kind of thing, so you're always happy to compete. And then it develops your desire to bring things to its end, to make sure that you're not good in only one thing. And it also allows you to, to add an extra dimension to your skills, because when you're looking at the character in the game, then you start thinking, so how would I look like if someone would look like at me like that? So, and this ability to look at yourself from the side, so it adds like 50% to the skills that you already have. Andre, thank you so much for participating in the draw. Thank you so much for speaking to me here. And now we move on to the final weight class. Max, over to you.
Итак, дорогие друзья,
So, dear friends, as Turan said, we have the final weight class, and what is the most important thing in this weight class? We will have women competing against each other, and as you can see alongside me, we have Maria Makhmatova. She was at the interview with the Turan, and she is deputy chairman of the All-Russian Collegium of Referees of the MMA Union and judge of Russian international categories. You look so nice and beautiful. Thank you very much. So, our weight class is 56.7 kilos, and I can't say that it's a very big experiment for us because it's not the right word, but it's a challenge. Because MMA, women's MMA is also very interesting to watch, and for me, since I'm a fan of virtual video games, for me it will be very interesting to see how women will cope with the game controller. So don't underestimate us. So looks like you are confident. I am, because guys are guys, boys are boys. So first 45 years are the most difficult one in any boy's life. But here I can imagine boys fighting against each other, how they play. But when it comes to women, so first they have a virtual clash, then they make it to the octagon. I think it will be like a big stir. Do you agree with me? Absolutely. So, without further ado, please come to me, to our drawing box, and let's make the draw. So we will come up with pairs for the weight class 56.7.
Я могу помочь.
Да.
So, can't open it. I can help you. I have a big experience because I have been opening it for 3 hours now. You could see that I took it from her hands, and then you can finish it on your own. So, we have Irina Chernyshova of Go MMA. So, it's like that. So, this is a lady from Russia. By the way, Go MMA is a very decent team with people from Switzerland, Belarus, Brazil, and Russia. So it's an international team, a very strong team. So this is the club, and well done, guys. And now let's pick up a pair, and not a couple, but a pair, because we have very serious MMA and fighting draw. So I know this lady, and this is Lyubov Salnikova of Gamers of Fighters. Luba Salnikova.
Расскажите. Тоже.
Can you tell us a few words about her? So she's from Russia, and she used to be in the Russian national MMA team.
Да.
So,
То есть серьезная девочка.
are you serious? Yes, she's a very strong fighter.
А я не знаю.
And can you comment on that?
Ну, слушайте, девочки непредсказуемы.
So women are very unexpected. You
Очень конкурентны.
So their fights can end up with anything. And so, yes, it's a very competitive discipline, and you are very intriguing. So I'm really thrilled. I just remember last Lubov's fight, and it was very interesting, I tell you.
Вернулась в наш чат. Она...
So I can tell you that we've got intrigue back in the action, and our next fighter.
Вот так вот.
Lauren Dulum from Smash Academy.
Это же Smash Team, правильно?
Да.
А Лорен Дулум, наверное, так, мне кажется. Ну, может быть, мы ошибаемся, конечно.
Далум.
Да, тоже
Да.
представительница.
Maybe Lauren Dulum. She's from the US. And as far as I can see, you don't have much information about her. So I only can tell you that her club is called Smash, so it will be like another different twisting plot.
Так, и мы сейчас ей пару подбираем, правильно? Окей.
And now let's find a pair for Lauren.
Лина Фаяд.
Lina Fayad
Фаяд, да.
Так, это,
of MK Team.
соответственно,
And
Иордания.
she's from Jordan. Yes.
Команда МК.
By the way, MK Team is a very interesting team because we have 3 people from Russia, and Lina will come from Jordan. Very, very fascinating.
Так, следующая, да, пару?
Next pair.
Еще пару, третью, правильно?
So this is the third pair. And it will be Vladlena Petrova
Правильно?
Кузня.
Да.
Да, Кузня. Ну, мы тут...
of the Kuzня team. So we have said a lot about Kuzня. So she's from Russia. Kuzня team is very well known to me,
Сильных спортсменов.
and they have very strong athletes. So I believe that they have women fighters as well.
Хорошо.
So it was like a very dramatic pause. So, and let's find out the pair.
Мария Артюхина.
Maria Artukhina of MMA Fighters.
Да.
Соответственно, представительница Армении.
So she is from Armenia, by the way.
К слову, да, скажем, что
And I have to say that MMA Fighters has only Armenian fighters, so they will compete under the Armenian flag, and that's the final pair. All right, and it will be Tatiana Vlasova from RCC.
О, ну, сразу вижу, знаю.
So yes, we see who knows her.
Ну, Россия.
So she's from Russia, obviously.
Это заключительный шарик,
Да.
правильно?
And this is the final ball. Yes, this is the final ball.
Представитель.
Sandra Gamal Anwar of Arabian Warriors.
Сандра.
Сандра
Гэмл.
Well,
Гамал Анвар, да.
Sandra Gamal Anwar of Egypt.
Интересно будет понаблюдать.
Well, it was quite interesting.
Ну что, таким образом
So,
сложились пары.
we have our pairs in this weight class, 56.7 kilos. Maria, thank you again very much.
И вам спасибо.
And thank you.
Традиционно.
So, traditionally, I know that we have a guest in Turan's room. So, Turan, over to you.
Все верно, рядом со мной.
So, you're absolutely right. Next to me, I have the CEO
еще раз.
of MMA TV channel and MMA series league Vyacheslav Kamnev. So I have a very simple and similar question. So how long have you been in martial arts? So I was about to graduate the military university, so I was doing martial arts back in the school and in my university and after university, so I can't live without martial arts. So first I created the Fighter TV channel. Now it's called Match Fighter. At some moment of time, I have come up with the joint project that was called MMA Global. So at one time, the league stopped to have tournaments, so that's why we had to launch our own projects. And during the pandemic, at the very outbreak, it was March 2020, we started to organize our own events. Our league is a part of the TV channel, and we've organized 75 fights over the 3 years. The latest one was on December the 3rd at VTB Arena, and we had absolute sold out. So first it was just a passion, but when did you realize that it's your profession, it's your trade? When you started to create the TV channel, maybe earlier or later? So don't mix up everything. So TV channel is one thing and my own passion is a different thing, and you don't always have to combine them. Of course, it's very good when you know what martial arts are about, but it's not obligatory. But of course, it's a very good advantage for you. So for me, martial arts have been with me my entire life, and TV channel has only exist for 5 years. And how did your journey into this sport begin? Was it like a class or a section? So first 2 years in my school, it happened that we got bullied by older guys, and I didn't want to. So I didn't want to feel vulnerable, and I kept on fighting every day with guys who were older than me, with 2 or 3. Sometimes I got beaten, and I didn't like it. And when I was 10 years, I started to do boxing. And after that, I got very confident, and maybe martial arts give you that confidence that no one will ever bully you. You know how to deal with conflicts. So you started to work with a coach, you started to learn you some techniques. So yes, I started to do martial arts, I got some ranks, and then I entered a military university. I started to do fighting, handful fighting. It was called complex martial arts. And how did you decide to create a TV channel? Was it like a demand from the society or something like that? So I created a fighter TV channel. Then we had a Red Media organization. We created Red Muse Comedy Club. We had some joint projects with university and with Sony. We had 30 channels, and one of the channel was Fighter channel, and then I just sold the company to Gazprom Media, and then this TV channel became a part of the Match TV holding. So then I got an offer from MMA Global, and they were at the beginning of the martial arts development when it was called fights without any rules, and I was at the very first events that took place in St. Petersburg at the early beginning back in 1990s when it was called Leningrad. And we had the same events in Kazan. Yes, and MMA Global events took place in Kazan with local guys. And Match TV was responsible for the TV broadcasts. And it was pretty interesting. We were good friends with the president of the league. And then I got an offer from him to create a TV channel, MMA Global, and this is how it rolled out. So we're talking about real things, but when we mentioned Phygital, we have to speak about virtual reality as well. Are you a fan of video games? Yes, I love playing games, but like some stupid comedies, when you just sit back and relax, and that's why I prefer very similar games when you don't need to break your brain, when you just can relax and play. And my two sons and my daughter, and I have 4 kids, I know that they play everything, and I could see them playing, and sometimes we played together. But I like very simple games. So if we're talking about Phygital Fighting, destiny or fate, so I mentioned that 30 years ago there were fights without rules, and back in the days it was very popular to see fights between a boxer and a fighter. Now we have mixed martial arts. Why? Because people learn how to fight and how to box. So people learn how to hit, how to kick, and how to act yourself not in a standing position. And I'm hoping that this Phygital Fighting will continue, because it's a very good format, very promising format. And I'm hoping that with the team that we have right now, this will definitely happen. And if it develops like right now, in several years we will have a group of teams that started to do Phygital. So now it's very clear. Now we have boxers and fighters, but now we have virtual fighters and real fighters. So sometimes they switch from virtual reality, some virtual disciplines, to physical disciplines, and some of them can have better reaction, but they don't have enough skills to protect themselves from opponents in the octagon. So if you train in Phygital format from the very beginning, initially you will train to have both computer skills, how to win over your opponents. You will learn tactics, because tactics is very important, and also you will know how to protect yourself in a real life. So once we have these Phygital athletes, and it will take several years, I'm pretty sure that this will be a new round of sports development. We see that MMA is very popular because we have a group of athletes who do MMA professionally. But anyway, we are right here, right now, we're talking about prospects, that's clear, but how do you think video games can help athletes? So with Andrei, we had a chat, and he said that it can help you to deal with stress, or you can get new skills that you will never see in reality or in octagon. Does it only impact your reaction, or other skills can also be obtained? I think it's all about tactics and application of special skills. But on the other hand, in the digital format, in video games, there are some tricks that you cannot execute in the real life, but there are simulators that are very similar to real life. Yes, I understand, but still, I know only one thing. I talk to fighters, and they find it very nice to play video games, because they just love it. And we attract to the games of the future only those guys who really enjoy both fighting and video games playing. So a very application question about the games of the future. So what do you think about the format? That there will be a team event, and what are your general expectations of the tournament? So I'm pretty sure it will be great, because there were 2 test events in Kazan, and I visited both of them, and that's why I am convinced that the fighting discipline will be great. But there were just 2 people in the team. Well, now there will be more people, but in principle, nothing will change. So I don't think it will worse. I think it will be even better. Thank you. Thank you very much. And in fact, I would like to ask another question about the games of the future and about the athletes. Maybe you have some insights. Who do you expect to come? I can only from guess, I think, because we already learned the name of the athletes. I can only tell you that athletes are very strong, and we will highlight at the MMATV.com the games of the future. We will broadcast fights, and also we will have some informational programs. Given that we live stream to 40 countries, all these 40 countries will see the games of the future, and that's for sure. And we'll love the format. And we showed this autumn the games of the future that were held in Kazan. It was test events, huge success. Fans loved it, and the figures say that spectators really love it. Aren't you afraid that since the fights will be very short, it will lead to less interest? So I think that athletes are strong, and then we will see. Anything can happen, because MMA is a very unexpected discipline. So you can have athletes with a similar record, with a similar style, and in one hand it will be a very long fight till the very end, like 15 minutes, 3 rounds with 5 minutes. And at some time you can have a knockout in the very first round, and it will end immediately. So it's very interesting because it's very unexpected. So no matter what results we will see, most importantly is to have dignity, and that's all about MMA. And what can you tell us about favorites?
Personally, I have no. I see no favorites. I never. I never think that I have to choose some special favorites for myself, because we show everyone, and because today someone might win the fight and tomorrow he will lose the fight. Because or he can go on winning 10 fights and then he will lose the 11th fight. So he needs to get himself together, to muster up strength, and just to go on, even if he was defeated. And we try to support the fighters no matter what the situation is. That's why I believe what important is not what kind of favorites we have. Of course, you have some fighters that you root for, that you cheer for, but I guess it would be wrong for myself, a broadcaster, to speak, because I'm broadcasting a lot of fights for a wide audience. It would be wrong for me to say that I like this fighter, I don't like that fighter. We are showing good fights, and we're showing good fighters. And I think all the fighters who are going to be in Kazan in February 2024, they are worthy fighters, and we will show all the fighters. One more question. What kind of future do the games of future hold? I'm not only speaking about martial arts here, but about the Phygital movement and about the games of the future competition. I have mentioned that in the beginning of our interview. Like when we made this step from the no-rules fights to the mixed martial arts. The same is here. If not only Phygital martial arts will be developed, but all Phygital disciplines will be developed. There will be athletes who would train, who would practice Phygital disciplines in the first place. Then it would be a success, because then it will become popular sports, then the competition level will grow, the level of opponents will grow, it will become interesting, and when everyone will be doing this on every street, in every household, then people would be interested to watch this, to follow this. So the most important thing is not to have this event, like a toy that you play with once. It should become a part of athletes' lives in all disciplines, in Phygital football, in ice hockey, in martial arts, and so on. Your forecast, how many years will it take? Well, I see with no rules fights, they went on like this for a number of years. Then it was turned into the mixed martial arts. formed because they saw that there was no future for the no rules fighting, that the mixed martial arts should be developed. And when these people emerged, because it takes a couple of years to prepare a fighter, to prepare an athlete, after this couple of years, it has become a true sport. Thank you very much for this great interview. Thank you very much for participating in our draw. And now we move on to the surprise that we have for you. I'm not going to reveal the secret yet, but don't change the channel, so to say.
Я бы с удовольствием представил этого человека.
Now it is our pleasure to introduce this person, but he does not require any introduction. Vlad, how are you? How are you doing? Well, I'm fine. How did it take a lot of time to get here? Well, not really. So let me ask you a couple of questions about regular sports, and then we will speak about Phygital. So do you do any sports? I used to play hockey when I was a kid, when I was 10, and now, well, I don't have time for sports. I mean, for regular sports. As for the esports, well, yes, there is a little bit more of esports in my life. Do you play yourself or you're watching? Well, as an amateur, yeah, I play a little popular games and regular sports. What kind of disciplines do you like? Football, hockey, if you played yourself, maybe curling. Well, as for the classical disciplines that I'm watching closely now, I'm watching a lot of football. I'm watching a lot of Dynamo Moscow games because I'm a fan. I thought you were going to show some gesture, like, oh, eyes working better, just a gesture with you. A couple of more questions. Could you name, well, I wanted you to name top 3 favorite clubs, but if we already have one, well, 2 more.
Так, Динамо Москва.
Well, Dynamo Moscow, as I said, Dynamo Minsk.
Здесь в Беларуси, там
Because I'm from Belarus, I used to play for this particular club. And Dynamo Kazan, we also have Dynamo in Kazan. Oh, maybe. Well, let it be Team Spirit, the team that won in the international.
киберспортивными дисциплинами.
And what e-sport disciplines are you into? Dota? It's not that I'm playing a lot, but it's just I'm watching all the finals when it's like the biggest event, when there are 2 teams and the winner to be determined, and then it's the main prize is on the stake, and I like to, to watch such finals. I watched major tournaments and the League of Legends. Dota, well, I know the rules. I used to play a little bit myself, but not as an e-sports athlete. And how do you like this combination of real and virtual, this Phygital movement? Well, I think it's great. I think that's where the future lies. We should develop this because that's where this energy of the future is coming from, and I'm supporting all these kind of initiatives related to the future, and it's always interesting to see it, to watch it, what it will develop into, maybe to try yourself into some of the disciplines. And we will meet in February as well, of course we will. And we are not here just to talk, because I know that you have something to tell our spectators, so the floor is yours. Friends, today is a very special day. Now you can finally buy tickets. They are not for sale yet, but just in a second, in a moment, in how many seconds? In 5, 10, 20, 30 seconds. Can we take a look at this ticket here?
К сожалению, у нас нету такого...
Unfortunately, we do not have this big red button to launch it, but it's already now. You can already do it. The tickets are for sale, so be the first ones to buy tickets.
Вот здесь вот промокод.
And here is also my special promotion code A4 Vlad, 20% discount for the tickets.
Событие, вы обязательно
Don't miss this unique opportunity. You have to be there. Well, if somehow you can't go, then watch it online. And I'll be there as well. So let's meet there in a couple of months.
Заходите на сайт.
That's right. Please go to the Games of the Future website, enter the A4 Vlad promo code, and buy tickets with discounted price. And we'll meet you in February in 2024 in Kazan. Vlad, thank you so much for being here with us. We'll meet for sure there.
Удачи!
Yay! Good luck, everyone.
В кадре, поехали.
So we start rolling www.tickets, tickets of future.ru. Well, you know where to go, buy tickets. Vlad launched the ticket sales, and you're going to have a discount right away. Go and buy tickets for any discipline, for any event. Well, I'm not really accustomed to standing here because you've been sitting for 3 hours and I've been standing for 3 hours, so get used to it. You know, to run, what I want to know, it was the first draw that is coming to an end. So could you please share your emotions, your feelings? What do you feel? Well, it was really awesome. I met some interesting speakers, some interesting guests. I met some of them previously before, and which is great that I'm going to meet some of them again in February 2024 in Kazan. Well, of course, I would agree with you, since I'm always rooting for our guys. I was amazed by the BMX Phygital event. It is going to be really great, and every discipline out of the 21 disciplines that we have is innovative, but the Phygital BMX with these athletes, it's something that's really blowing my mind. So I'm incredibly happy with this day today. Go on and buy tickets. And Vlad A4 also was here. He launched the ticket sale. So I guess this is it. And we can read your comments online and social media. When, just right now. Why are you sitting around there? Go and buy your ticket just right now, this very moment. And using this opportunity, since I'm a custodian of the social media, you go on and subscribe to the Games of the Future, to the VK page of the Games of the Future. I will check your IP addresses, and I will go to your homes to see if you subscribe to our social media platforms. Okay, so we have to say goodbye now, but we will be back after the New Year holidays, because we are going to have a lot of interesting stuff that we want to share with you. And mainly, we would like to draw all the people up in here. And Happy New Year, everyone. Goodbye, guys.
Пока-пока-пока.
Bye.